Hello, testing. Check, check. So everybody, y'all see me and hear me? Is everything good? Just gonna wait a bit. I took this off earlier. So cats, sorry I was late. I actually just got done with the Patreon stream. We did the weekly jazz VAR review, episode 3. And actually, if you wanna you can check those out. We're gonna be putting more of those out. Today is gonna be a little bit difficult to talk about. Specifically because the conversation can kind of go in many different ways. And people are probably expecting me to say certain things or expecting me to talk about certain things in a certain way. But for those concerned about me and my safety and about my, brand or all that kind of whatever, first of all, that's not really important. And second of all, you don't got to worry because I'm not really here to talk about the thing that you think I'm here to talk about. I'm here, I'm going to mention it briefly and then talk about the bigger picture surrounding this whole thing. Because I am not qualified in any sense of the imagination. Any stretch of the imagination, am I qualified to talk about the specifics of these incidents. And I think anyone who goes on the internet purporting to be qualified like that, unless they actually can prove the qualifications, you should avoid them. So I'm not gonna purport to have any type of qualifications. I'm gonna say that outright. We know what's happening in the world right now. If you don't, do your research. Today was, and I gotta be strong too, because we before I even say anything. It's hard, man. We just we lost another one today. Just this morning, Akiko-san, Akiko Tuda died this morning. She was just in her, couldn't have been any older than 60 or something. She was married to Joe Magnarelli, great trumpet player. And she was awesome, amazing, incredible pianist, and I got to play with her a few times. And we were gonna eventually do more. We were actually gonna end up doing some stuff together, at some point. And that was the first thing I woke up to. And it's just it's hard. Everything is hard to talk about. Look, she was battling a sickness that I didn't know she was battling. I saw her on the cruise this year. I saw her on the cruise again this year. Because we had played with the big band, with John Clayton's big band, earlier in January. And she was in bright spirits. We were talking in Japanese and having a good time. It was awesome, and she got sick suddenly for 6 months. I still don't. They haven't released exactly what the cause was, what was going on, but you know, if you haven't, let's go. It's rough, man. But I think it would be a shame if we didn't go listen to some, just to open up the stream with a reminder of why we do this. Let's go listen to some. Let's go find a recording of Akiko playing. If y'all can see her play, she was amazing, man. Oh, this is great. Okay. This is like oh, this is with the okay, that's with Jeff Hamilton. Yeah, the organ trio. Oh, this is with Lou Donaldson. Oh man, that's awesome. There's a whole bunch of stuff we could find here. You saw her at Centrum. Yeah, she was at Centrum. I saw her there too. Yeah. Let's see if I've heard this one before yet. Oh yeah, and this is Lou's famous tune also. I wonder if she solos in this one. But yeah, let's check out some Akiko. This is for her. Yeah, she got a band with Jeff Hamilton. Man, that's hard. It's hard to swallow this, man. Life, man. This is like Lou Donaldson's most famous tune, too. Or one of his most famous tunes. Yeah. Yeah, Lou, giving it up. Yeah, man. We gotta keep on doing the thing. You just gotta keep on doing the thing, man. So we all love you, Akiko. I mean, you're one of the best. And another representation, showing the world, I mean, look, like, she was a badass, man. Doing what she did. She ain't let nobody tell her that, whatever, you a woman and this and that. She threw down. It don't matter what you is. You know what I mean? Like, and the fact that she have all of this that she did, like, all of this she left behind, all of this, like, all of this she had left behind, all of this, that's great. Like, whenever we see something like this happen, the message is we got to pick up where they left off. I didn't know this was gonna be this hard, but yeah, just we're gonna try to keep it focused and try to keep it on topic. But just it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say rest in peace, man. Like, too many people this year, too many people this year, too many people last year, too many people every day. And now, but anyway, I'm not gonna use Akiko to pivot into a topic. I'm gonna give her moment. And everybody else that we've been losing recently. Like, to natural causes, Give everybody their moment and appreciate everything. Like, appreciate everything that they're leaving behind for us. And we won't stop as a result of that. So thank you, Akiko and Joe. Much love to you. So sorry that you have to go through this right now. I can't, no words. So just want to take a moment for that real quick. I thank you, Slim. I appreciate that, the $6, Slim. Before we move on, let's do that. Yeah, Arson. Yeah, that's what I was saying. She was just in her 50s. Yeah. There's a lot of things I can say, but I don't want to say anything. There's a lot of things I can say. There's just everybody live a healthy life, and if you notice something, go get it checked out. Don't wait. Okay. Yeah. They need their time. That's why I'm not saying nothing to them. I'm not texting them. I'm not. And for those of y'all who saying y'all are ignorant, you don't have to say that. There's no issues. You're not. You have to apologize for anything. It's all right. Like, y'all know her now. Y'all can go check her out. And if you don't, that's fine. There's no bad nothing, no bad blood or nothing. I do want to call. I'm probably gonna end up talking to Jeff I mean, John Clayton at some point. But thank you, Akiko, for everything you've done. So, what I want to talk about today, right? Let's move right along, just like she would have wanted us to. I mean, even just like literally just text. I see my last text with her, which was apparently, I guess, right before she got sick. This was back in February. It was my last text messages with her. And we were just like, yeah, let's play. But let's move right along. So today we talking about this kind of a heavy stream, everybody. I'm not gonna lie. And this is notice that I said it's a message and a conversation. Because I'm here to talk to you all. I mean, a lot of this video will be me talking at you guys, right? But then part of it is also I want to talk to you guys and talk with you all. Because like I've been thinking a lot about what's been happening. And not just now. It's just time to talk about this because there's now that I'm actually home and I have my setup and everything, and you know, I can finally make the time to say these things. And full transparency also, I don't have a script for this. This is just like I have like one thing I wanted to there's like one sentence I have written down that I wanted to not forget. This is a real talk. So I can't promise that everything I say is going to be super clean or super organized, but at the very least, I'm going to try my best to address everybody clearly and calmly so that we can make sense of all of this stuff. So let's start from the beginning and like why I'm saying this stuff. This didn't start this week. Let's be real. This did not start this week. It did not start 3 days ago. It did not start last year. It didn't start in 2020. It didn't start in 2012. Didn't start in the 90s. This is not something that just started last week. This is something that we have to talk about that has been a systemic issue dating back at least 50 or 60 years now. That has finally come to a head now because we kind of have no choice. So those of y'all who have been talking with me in the past few days, we've been having conversations on Discord. You probably already know what I'm going to talk about today. But I'm going to have to, for the sake of context, I'm going to have to bring up the inspiration for this. Right? We kind of have to. And I know, like, just as a disclaimer, it's like, oh, I'm Patrick. I'm a jazz musician. And I often get certain comments and DMs from people saying that either I talk too much and I need to just shut up and play, or I'm just doing music too much and I'm not being political enough. I'm not talking about issues enough. You can't please everybody. You can't please everybody. And all I can do is stay in my lane for you guys. But sometimes, just like I'm talking about some other stuff, now we got to talk about this stuff because this is important for us as musicians, but it's important for us, more importantly, as people to talk about this because it's going to make a lot of sense, hopefully, towards the end of this conversation. So we know what happened recently. just this week, at least 2 major events shook the country. And we're talking about country, we mean America. So for my people that are outside of America, outside of the U.S., I should say, so that way I'm not like assuming that Canada and Mexico are not part of America. Sorry if you don't know this, but you kind of have to do some research on it, because I'm not going to talk about it explicitly here for a lot of different reasons. And it's not about monetization, because I'm not monetizing the stream. I don't monetize my live streams, and I definitely would not want to monetize this one. And I know ads. I want everybody to see this. So the thing I want to talk about is actually not the event, but I want to talk about our response to it. Those of y'all who were with me in Discord remember this kind of conversation we're having. So we know somebody of high profile status had his life taken away, right? By some dude that now we think we caught the main perpetrator. But there's a lot of discourse around this. There's a lot of discourse. And the main discourse around this seems to sway in either direction depending on what you're looking at. You got one side of people, right? You got one side of people that are saying he was a good man. Why did you, he was a good man that believed in good things. Why did you, he didn't deserve to have his life taken. You got the other side of people who are saying, this guy his rhetoric was harmful. He said very harmful things, terrible things. And he was a bad person, terrible person. He deserved to have his life taken. There is very little in the middle. And when there is anything that occurs in the middle, it gets muted or it gets discredited. And the thing I want to talk about today, again, is not the thing that happened. It's our response to it. So this is really hard to talk about on stream because I don't know the barriers, the limits of what I can talk about here. But maybe it'll become a little easier if I preface this conversation with the end of the result of where I want to go. And the end result of where I want to go is I want to talk about arts education. The main subject of today is going to be arts education and the view of arts in modern capitalist society. Now, why are we saying this? Why am I saying this? What the heck does this have to do? What does this have to do with the incidents? Well, again, because it didn't start here. It didn't start with this. There's another incident that happened not too long ago. United Healthcare CEO. There's a lot of events we can keep talking about, right? Now, the first thing, the reason why I want to talk about this is because the first thing people are probably thinking right now, as I say that, the first thing people might be talking about thinking about is, well, what side do I choose? What side am I on? Who do I support? What do I think? That's the thing I want to talk about. Let's talk about expression for a little bit. So one of the biggest issues that I have with what's going on today is that no matter what happens, let's say this. No matter what happens, the thing that seems to jump out to people the most, that ends up getting shared the most online, is people's reactions to things instead of the thing itself. News does not get traction in today's social media climate nearly as much as our reactions to it does. Now, why is that? Does anybody really understand why reactionary content gets more play and more buzz than the content itself? Why do comments drive algorithms? Why are retweets often more popular than the actual tweets? We got to really start looking at this. My theory, again, I'm not an expert. My theory as to why this is a thing and why I think this is harmful. We talk about ideology can be harmful in whatever kind of way we talk about it, right? The reason why I think this is harmful is because there was a certain point in time where art was a communication tool, not a product. Not just a product, it was a communication tool. Why is that important? Let's say you have in one of the conversations that I had on Discord, someone had brought up that they had a conversation with their friends. Or not friend, but like a group of people. And the room seemed to be divided on the incident that happened to the person of interest that we're talking about, right? And apparently one person was just like, why can't we just look at this as blah, 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 like Nuance or whatever. And then somebody was saying he was a bad man who did bad things and he deserved to die. And I'm like, how do we qualify scientifically? How do we qualify logically and scientifically who a bad person is? Like, I want us to think about that. We got to think critically for a second. Why do we use broad strokes? What is the reason we use these broad strokes? In my opinion, right? Just again, everything I say is opinion. In my opinion, these types of broad strokes are evolutionary, or what do we call them? These broad strokes are results of our evolution. They're like in our DNA. These types of things are learned behaviors that we learn to survive. In tribes or groups that you keep together, you must link together within your common people to separate the good from the bad. And by good from the bad, it's relative to what is safe for you and what's bad for you. Right? That's important. It's important for our survival. However, the nuance that I want to bring to this conversation is the nuance of distance. We're going to talk about distance for a second. I am in no way ever going to tell people who are close to an incident, if you're close to an incident and it affects you directly, who knows what the people that were there are going through? Who knows what the people that are on either side, right? People that are directly affected by his rhetoric, people that are directly affected by the life ending. I am not here to make any comments about what's going to happen to them. I mean, you can technically, if you really want to go there, you can actually make some of the things I'm about to say after this. You can make some of those comments about them. But for the sake of not wanting to have an actual calm and collective discourse, because you can't control everybody and their emotions, I'm not going to push them directly. But I am going to talk about the people that are not close to this event and the people that are not close to the person in question or the side that is on the opposition. So the thing I want to mainly talk about is danger. This is the first thing I want to talk about. We're going to get to expression in a bit. But before I get to expression, we need to talk about danger. So, I don't know, let's say like 2,000 years ago or something. 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, maybe. If somebody, let's talk about the reason why I even came to this type of logic and reasoning is because there was a conversation in my Discord about a joke, like racial jokes or offensive jokes or all sorts of things like that, and how like they're unacceptable in any context. I've since talked with this person. We've had a nice kind of conversation. There's always more to have. But the thing that was brought up is I was asking the very hard question as a thought experiment. I wanted to ask a thought experiment. And the thought experiment was, why are these types of jokes bad? And the defense that was brought up by multiple people was about the fact that, oh, because it's like you're punching down towards somebody and they can't defend themselves. And I was thinking, what's the danger to them? What does like joking at someone else's expense, what is the danger, the physical danger that is presented to these people, right? What is the physical danger that's presented? The second part of it was like, oh, well, they're like disenfranchised people and there's this and that. And it made me think, it's very uncomfortable to be joked about. And I'm saying this as somebody who even recently, you know, I'm not a perfect person, but I'm at least acknowledging that I understand the steps that I have to take to understand what this is. And the problem is that people paint things as too broad or black and white. And because this is a public video, I have to say that, of course, I support the LGBT community. All trans people are welcome in my community. I actually make it I make it an effort to make sure all trans people feel welcome in my communities. And also, of course, if you're a person of color or anywhere, it doesn't matter. Everybody, even conservatives, I want everybody to be welcome because I'm not the type of person that thinks that ideas are harmful. That's extremely important to me. And and if you say this is the first step to me getting canceled, right? But let me continue. So on the joke conversation, the reason why the conversation kind of kept going is because I've been actually watching a lot of Dr. K's videos. I don't know if y'all know Dr. K, Healthy Gamer GG. And his videos came to me at a very important time in my life, a very difficult time in my life. When everything that I was doing in my life came to a head, and I realized that one of the reasons that my life was suffering was because I was reacting to everything. I've been kind of in react mode because I don't feel safe. I feel like certain things will happen to me, and then I'll feel weak. I feel like I have to defend myself because I'm reacting. And one thing I realized is that I had to learn, and what I'm learning right now is to separate my identity from my thoughts. Separate my identity from my thoughts. As in, my thoughts and reactions are just things that exist. They're just things that happen outside of me. It's just, I am not these things. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my reactions. You know what I'm saying? This was the most important element for me to learn how to move on, forgive myself, and continue to move on in life peacefully. And I've been able to like appreciate other people for that as well. It's awesome. So how does this pertain to the joke thing? Well, the reason why is because this idea of jokes or ideologies or thoughts or anything are dangerous. They have a certain context that is necessary. Because if you were to make a joke about somebody, I guess like 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, like if there was like if there was somebody in the tribe or a neighboring tribe or whatever, and they made a joke about the leader or something, that might mean that you don't respect them. I don't know. It might be dangerous. You want to get this person away because clearly they don't respect you. I don't know. I don't know. But that's the only thing I could think about. I don't understand the harm in that. Right? Because it's always in the context of something. My belief is that if you want to think about survival and you want to think about getting along with people, feelings are not reality. Everything that you think and react is something that can be curated and trained and practiced. And it's not being a psychopath or sociopath. It's just learning how to look at and examine what comes out of you. Right? And see, is this thing worth saying to somebody else? Is this thing worth getting out? Is this actually what I think and what I feel for real? Is this in a calm, collected environment? Is this actually something that I would like? No. And one of the biggest issues that we have right now is that we have gone from a society in just 100 years We have gone from idolizing and appreciating nuance and communication and eloquence and thoughtfulness. That's what we used to revere. That's what was hot and cute and sexy, whatever, was thoughtfulness. Now, the thing that is desired is impulsivity. We love impulse. Impulse is what we crave. And this is where I'm going to start getting into the arts education discussion. It's going to come down there, and it's going to come at a certain point. Impulsivity is something that we know is like a fight or flight response. Impulsivity is a response. It's what happens when you do stuff without thinking. So I really want to know if we're really about loving people, right? If we're really about loving people, this is hard, man. Because there's so many directions this can go in. But if we're really about loving people now, we need to learn to stick to that. If we rely on impulse for everything that we do, right? Because if we rely on impulse for everything we do, that means we're giving agency to those that we are upset with. If we don't sit down and really think about it, right? For example, let's say, I'm trying to think of another hard topic to talk about. For example, okay, I like this example that we were talking about the other day. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we were talking about the idea of justice. Let's talk about justice for a second. The idea of, and this is one of the reasons why, the previous, the Italian boy wonder who did the thing and everybody was drooling over him, right? Let's talk about the idea of justice. My thesis for the conversation the other day was that justice is unnecessary in the context of the individual. Here's what I mean by that. Why do we have a justice system? A justice system exists to keep society together. A justice system... Wait, define justice and retribution as different things first. I don't need to do that. I don't think I need to do that. Justice and compassion. Justice without compassion. Well, see, here's the thing. Let's actually take a second, because a lot of people like to define this and that, define this and that. I rather, before we do personal definitions, take a look at the actual definition of justice that is as this defined. Because if everything is made up, we have to go with what's made up, right? So justice definition. Okay. So, all right. So it's defined here. Just behavior or treatment, as in, for those who are English as second language, you have to look up the definition of just. I hate AI. Okay. Let's look at Merriam-Webster. The idea of just is having a basis in or conforming to fact or reason. Conforming to a standard of correctness. I like the archaic. Faithful to an original. That's nice too. Second one, acting or being in conformity with what is morally upright or good. This is the one we need to look at. Acting or being in conformity with what is morally right or good. Then you got some side definitions like legally correct. This is why we have like justice system and stuff like that. Being what is merit, whatever. This definition is what we need to look at right now. This is going to go down a whole rabbit hole that I don't want to go down right now, but we can go down morality, right? But this is what we need to focus on for a second. So keep this in mind. Okay. When it comes to, let me duplicate the tab. Let's go back to justice. Okay. So let's go back to justice. So justice is like just behavior or treatment. So we look at treatment here, right? This is the most important word when it comes to the society part. This is also a very important word, behavior. The idea of justice is performative inherently. It's performative. Now, when I say the word performative, people put a negative connotation on that word. But this is what I'm talking about. Control your emotions. Like every word that I'm saying right now, I want you to focus on the emotion you have when you hear me say it. Don't act on the reaction and get mad at me with your keyboard. If you feel angry or weird about me, just take it, right? Then see if you actually want to tell me that. Okay? So, just behavior or treatment. What does that mean in this context? It means that the only way for justice to actually truly be like exist, it needs to be in the context of someone else outside of you. How can you have justice for yourself, right? How do you have justice if you I don't know, if you hurt yourself by tripping over, let's say like, I don't know, there's like a building outside and you trip on the curb. Are you going to sue the building? The owner's like, is it there? Like, you need to get justice for you tripping over. Do you get justice over yourself? Like, who's wrong? Who's wrong here? If you, like, I don't know, set another example. Let's say if, like, you cheated on your partner. Right? Like, or like, I don't know, let's do something less extreme. Let's say you just been, I don't know, like, your partner wanted to break up with you. And then you finally realize that it was because you didn't really care about the relationship anyway. Who do you get justice on? You're going to get, where's the justice? To yourself? For like, the only justice is like, I don't know, if you want retribution or justice or something, like, to make it fair, you should just learn how to improve yourself. Learn how to care. Performative has a weird, I don't care about the connotation. This is what I'm talking, Neil, this is what I'm talking about. I don't care about the connotation. That's societal. Connotation is societal. You have the power to control what you think about that connotation. This is the direction I'm going in right now. So in terms of just behavior or treatment, if we're looking at this, the only way justice can truly matter is if it's in the context of society. We have justice in order to prevent people from doing bad things, what we deem is bad. And where does that come from? Well, as humans, the only thing that's in our DNA is our will to survive. How we go about that, what we think about survival, what we think is correct, that's learned. That's not in our DNA. We don't have injected into our DNA that, you know, kids should not have cell phones until 18. Or we don't have injected into our DNA that you shouldn't have any liquor until 21. We don't have injected into our DNA that, you know, kids should be out in the farm working at 12. We don't have in our DNA that we should actually protect them instead until they're 18 and what. None of this is in our DNA at all. This is not natural. This is learned. This is learned. So things that we know is learned, right? We have to be careful about these things because what one group of people thinks is necessary and good for survival is different than what another group of people might think is good for necessary for survival. They both want to survive. They both want to see their people thrive. But this is where the tribal stuff comes in. So the reason why I'm bringing that, you know, let's keep this up. That way you can still kind of see it a little bit, okay? Just so it can be for context. So the reason why I'm saying this, I promise there's a reason why I'm saying all this, is because I want to talk a quick little side story about me moving to Japan and what I learned from moving to Japan. So as you know, I was living in Japan for 2.5 years. From like the second half of 2022 until January this year. And the things that I learned changed my life forever. I was raised in the South. As you can tell, I'm black, as we call it, even though it's weird. My skin's not even that dark, but I'm black. But whatever. I'm African American, right? I'm a supreme mutt. I have like so many different things in me. I got like Jamaican and general black, like like American black, Chinese, Cherokee Indian or Native American. It's our old archaic term. Cherokee, Panamanian, Irish. What else I got? I think Creole. I got a lot of stuff, right? But that's neither here nor there. So because of that and my heritage, I was raised in a predominantly, I guess what we would now call liberal household. But it's not really true because politically, voting on the page, we were liberal, but philosophically, a lot of the black community is actually pretty conservative. I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. It doesn't mean conservative as in politically conservative. It means ideologically very conservative. It's why we have a lot of infighting in the black community right now, specifically because there's a lot of tension between the city black folk and the country black folk about what, is necessary for human life. Socially conservative. Yeah, exactly. Socially conservative. So, because I grew up in that environment, I grew up in that kind of duality of an environment, which is really interesting, right? Like I grew up in an environment that was always politically liberal. Like we always wanted to, vote against Bush, vote against McCain. Like, oh, Obama's here, we gotta vote black because he's black. Gotta vote Obama, and like. But then, my first election that I was old enough to vote in by just 1 year, basically like 1 or 2 years, was the second Obama term, right? It was Obama versus Romney. Wow, I wish we had like that was the last civil, normal looking debate we ever had in this country. It's crazy. But yeah, anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that because of those views that I grew up with, after moving to New York, I really went to like when I was 18, my country behind moved to New York, and I had to learn how to change my accent. I had to learn how to change my vocabulary. Oh, so many things I had to change. Because I was like country. Either some people didn't understand what I was saying, or like I would try to like hug people and everybody was like, oh, I'm like, wow, okay. Well, it was like culture shock, severe culture shock. I just know what I was doing. But one of the things I realized is that I really quickly had to realize my own biases that I grew up with that were really interesting. Because I went to 3 predominantly black schools in black neighborhoods in the hood that were all at least 89 to 90% black. And it was also the early 2000s, mid 2000s. This wasn't a very politically correct time. We all thought weird stuff and was saying weird stuff that we had to learn how to like get over. We didn't grow up in this time that we're in right now where everyone is all connected. We didn't grow up in that time. So, oh yeah, it's funny. Yeah, based on the chat, I should actually mention it. Yeah, I grew up missionary Baptist too. But when I went to New York, I had to throw all that stuff out. I learned quick because it's certain things you say about certain groups of people. You could be a well-meaning individual and grow up and vote for Obama and still say weird racist stuff about Asian people, weird racist stuff about white people, racist stuff about Hispanic people. And it's just normal. You can be all of that and still say all that stuff, right? And then you learn later. Right? You grow. We don't give enough grace to people who are learning, but that's another thing. So when I moved to New York at 18, over the next 4 years of me being there, I realized like quick, like, yeah, this is where there's so many people. There's so many people around from around the world, and we're all here, and we all have to learn to live together. That's crazy. And then 6 years after that, so this is like from that time, that's a total of 10 years living in New York. I started my adult life, my formative years, childhood to adult, all in Florida. 18 years up, my entire adult life was started in New York. So I had the South and the North, the conservative, socially conservative, and the socially liberal. It was like I had like, it was kind of crazy. So what I started to adopt a lot of extremely liberal and sometimes leftist ideals, right? I donated to Planned Parenthood. I was there. I was supporting people, Occupy Wall Street. Like I was really trying to be in there for the cause, and same thing. I even like, for those of y'all who don't know, I mean, I can talk about it now, like my partner who I was with. I mean, I won't say her name, but I had moved to Japan with her. And when I finally moved to Japan, she's my ex now, but when I finally moved to Japan, something really crazy happened. No, I was not there. I was not actually there, Occupy Wall Street, but I was supporting the cause and posting and talking with friends, all that kind of stuff, right? Like that's where my mind was. But like, yeah, I was in Japan and it was my dream place, right? But I realized I had all these like kind of preconceptions about Japan. Not only did I have preconceptions about Japan, I had preconceptions about what humanity should be in general. My thoughts, my experiences in New York, because everyone's there, made me think that what I thought that was best for people, for everybody, and accepting everybody, like everyone should have this, they should have this, they should have this, whatever. I thought that. And then I have conversations with my partner about one specific thing. There was a lot of things we talked about. One specific thing stood out to me, and we used to have fights about this. We had a conversation about women in politics. And for me, as a super American black liberal who supports LGBTQ and women and everything, right? I'm sitting there like, yeah, there are not enough women in politics. And then she was like, what's wrong with that? And I was like, yeah, well, Japan has a history of being a super misogynist country, which technically is not untrue, right? But this kind of raised some eyebrows to her. She had only lived in America for 2 years. She speaks English pretty well. So it's not like she's ignorant to what's going on in the States. She'd only lived in America for 2 years. So her entire rest of her life, she's my age, a year younger than me, entire life lived in Japan. I'm an outsider that just moved to the country. And I'm saying all this stuff. I'm spewing all this stuff about like, this is not fair for women. This is not fair for like this, and that. And she's just like pulling up articles and everything to like disprove me. And I'm just sitting there like, in my mind, I'm so convinced. I'm like reacting like, there's a woman talking to me right now. And I'm trying to tell her, a Japanese woman, that Japanese women are oppressed. I'm trying to tell her, the person that has had a lot of terrible things happen to her, actually, that I'm not going to talk about and publicize it because I still got respect for her, right? No matter what happened, no matter what I did or what she did, I have respect for her. So I'm not going to air her public. But she had a lot of stuff happen to her that made me cry a lot when I found out about what happened to her, right? Okay. I'm telling her and preaching her that even though she's pulling up whatever, check this out. You know what she told me? She was like, the Japanese government actually is trying to do a lot of stuff to like encourage women to be in whatever. And I was like, yeah, they are getting a lot of pressure. They're getting a lot of pressure from like the outside world, UN or whoever, whatever, and culturally to like be more inclusive. But here's the problem. I wish I could have had an article. She was pulling stuff up. She was like, yeah, like there's no wage inequality. Like, and they're not rejecting women in politics. A simple fact is that, and I was like, really? Well, look at this, and this. And you know what she was like? The women ain't taking the jobs. And I'm sitting there like, well, they're not encouraged because they think that all they got to do is sit at home and let the man do the work and they raise the kid and because we think that's such a bad thing in liberal society, right? So I'm sitting there like preaching to her about how like women should be more than mothers. Women should be more than all this stuff that like I'm eating up in the States, right? And she's in there being like, yeah, they can do that if they want to do that, which is what they want to do. And I'm like, I had like, why am I? It's like white folks preaching at black people why they should feel offended. Like if you got a black person, if you got a group of black people that's just like, I'm chilling. For some reason, their opinion doesn't matter. Only opinion that matters is the people that think there's a problem. Regardless if there is a problem or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if there's actually a problem. That's what people don't get. It doesn't matter if there's actually a problem. It depends. The thing that matters is how you feel about being confronted with somebody that has a different opinion than you. You get it? You get where I'm going with this? I love that. Thank you, Bella. We don't want those jobs. We want to be at home and not work so hard. Here's the thing. I'm not telling you that all women want to do this. I'm not saying all women want to stay home. I would say most people in general would love to not work. That's why AI is a problem, but that's a different conversation. That's a different real talk about AI. That's coming soon. Don't worry. But no, the point is that I came from New York, and my viewpoint was that women should not be locked down and such, and that they all want to. Wait a minute. I had to stop for a second. I'm saying all, every. My partner at the time, she was like, no, like all of my friends, including, and one of the reasons why we split was because I didn't like the traditional home model. I was raised by a single parent and didn't see that life growing up. And my mom didn't raise me to value such and such. She raised me to like live life how you live. And as long as you agree with somebody, super liberal. As long as you communicate with the person, you're fine. I didn't realize that my partner at the time wanted to settle down and have a family, kids early. And I'm like, we were trying to move to the States. Like, hey, when you gonna get the house? When are you getting the house? And I'm like, dang, I never thought about this because I'm all liberaled out because I have a lot of, I used to bring up the argument that I got a lot of friends in relationships, never got married. My parents, or not my parents, but like my mom and stepdad, they were together for like 10 years before they got married. And that would make her so mad. And it's like, she's doing great. Y'all probably already know who I'm talking about. She's doing great. She's doing her life and it's awesome. But I was sitting there trying to break her down because I thought I was righteous. I thought I was righteous in my thinking. I thought I was helping her, guys. I thought I was helping her by saying she should be free and that, like, come on, 30's not old. And like, I know you want to do this before 30 and whatever, but like, come on, you got your whole life. You don't got to. She was so mad. She was so mad. I didn't get it because my friends and all my people in New York with all the fancy hair colors and the hip, it was our generation that started the hipster thing, the hipster beards and the craft beards, and they the ones that have like partner and this and that, and no girlfriends or boyfriends, so the conservative, those people, was she wrong? Is she wrong for having her dream of getting married? Is she wrong for having a dream of settling down and wanting to have kids? Like, is she wrong for that? Like, because my liberal mindset is like, women need to be liberated. Giant eye-opening moment for me, realizing that Japan is one of the safest countries in the world. It's not a straw man. It's not a straw man, Zimpins. It's not a straw man. The point I'm trying to make is that there is a lot of people, and you know this, you've seen people like this, that need to make sure that their voice is heard. Why do we need to make sure our voice is heard? Like, why does your voice need to be heard? I'll tell you why your voice needs to be heard. This goes into the art discussion. So let's bring it back. The reason why I'm talking about this, there's a reason why I'm talking about this right now, and why I'm talking to you guys about this, is because that experience with Japan helped me to see that all of the stuff I was being fed about conservative people, all the stuff I was being fed about the other side, was only one side of a very radical, it was only one super radical side of a very complex equation. Extremely radical. Think about it. What do we get upset at conservatives for? We get upset, right? And say we like as people. I don't fit into a group. I'm not in a group. But let's pretend like I'm on like the liberal side, which I lean towards it. But let's say that, right? This side, which is more commonly associated with the arts, gets mad at conservatives because they think that all liberal people are radical leftists. Right? Isn't that true? I'm not wrong, right? Most of them are fed a narrative that all of us on our side want to like get rid of every conservative, kick them out, because we see some tweets that are put out by super radical people that are really bad people, regardless if they're on the left or right. We see them, right? And that's what's getting retweeted. So of course The conservative people who just are they just 9-to-5 job, trying to make their money, trying to raise their kids, whatever. They're going to look at that and be like, I don't want that. Like, I want a safe neighborhood. Have any of y'all ever been to a conservative town before? Have any of y'all ever, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if any of y'all ever went to a place, I lived in a conservative country for 2 years. Socially conservative, right? Like, it's so conservative. Like, listen, Japan has a sectioned off place called Shinjuku Nichome that is like, it's like the gay district of Japan that everyone can go free and run wild in. And I've never heard a single person really complain, right? I'm sure Japan has a terrible history with accepting stuff like this. But it's a conservative country that people love to move to. But the point I'm trying to make is, what I think is really interesting is that we get mad at them for that. But you know what conservatives get mad at our, quote unquote, our side for? You know what conservatives get mad at our side for? For thinking that every conservative is a super radical, like alt-right dude. Let's talk about expression. The reason why I talk so much about expression and why I want to get into this is because you know what? Let's go back to this. Because it bleeds into this. Now that I talked about like conservative and liberal, all this kind of whatever. Let's go back to justice. Just behavior or treatment. How do you define that? How do you as a society define that? Let's do a thought experiment for a second. We need to do a thought experiment, right? Let's put this right here. So, how do we do this? Let's think about it this way, because this is the key to us approaching to find peace. I had it in my head and I should have wrote it down. I got to take a moment to think a little bit. So we're looking at justice. Thought experiment. It's going to be a little difficult. Let's do it on the side that we think is the right side, right? We have a lot of people saying be on the right side of history, be on the right side of this and that, right? We perceive everything that people say as danger, right? Even if it's not physically affecting us, we perceive everything as danger. So one of the biggest talking points, it's a very complex issue. And I hate to bring this topic in, but we have to talk about, I'm trying to think of like, there's so many talking points that we have to talk about, right? I mean, we could talk about capital punishment. We could talk about pro-choice versus pro-life. That might be the easiest one to talk about. On our side, especially as someone, listen, 13 years ago, I donated as a 19-year-old to Planned Parenthood. Right? We were taught to believe that that's being on the right side of history and being on the right side of the world. You know what I mean? This argument always gets me riled up. Like, not really riled up. That's not the right word, but it piques my interest. Because since I've learned how to be kind of conditional about the way I think about my own personal justice versus like outside of people's justice, one thing that's really interesting that kind of affected me is so much of our Western morality is rooted in religion. You realize that, right? So much of what we think about in life is based on, in the West, our concepts for society, our concepts for morality are usually based on religion. And one kind of core specific religious tenet that people like to pull is that all life is life. Like life begins at conception versus life begins on the outside, right? Who is correct? Who is correct? Is there a correct scientific answer? I'm willing to bet that no one can give me a correct scientific answer to this question. I'll bet serious money. Zimpans, I don't know if you live in Japan. I don't know if you live in Japan or ever have lived in Japan, but I have. And when I presented stuff like that to her, see, this is also misinformation. I love this. See, you're repeating the same things that everybody who looks at one facet of the internet, you just said they changed the age of consent from 13 years old just 3 years ago. Not true. You want to know what happened? There was one province, even there was a district of a province that still had not changed their age. The entire rest of the country was already 18. There was one specific province left, and that was in a very specific case scenario between like close family. You realize that, right? You should go. I don't want to make this about this. I don't want to go look this up, but that's the truth. So there's certain things that what you mean so? I love this. This is hilarious. I'm very intrigued by this conversation. It's fun. It's fun. It's really important that we understand and check our bias, because this is what I'm talking about. We need to check our bias. It's very easy to look at that and be like, so it took them so long. It's like, bro, the entire rest of the country. So this glass, right? Let me see how much. Let me see. You already know I'm going with this, right? All right, chat. Is this glass half full or half empty? Huh? Is this glass half full or half empty? What's scientifically correct? Half full? Yeah, you actually gave me an answer. It's amazing. That's really fun. It's both cool. Don't we love these like kind of like a thought experiments? Half empty. You filled it, then emptied it scientifically. I love that observation. Very astute. But if you didn't see me do that, which is what most of you are like, right? In the world. If you didn't see me do that, it doesn't even matter. Does the action determine the substance? Or is the substance just a substance? You said I filled it, then I emptied it. Doesn't change what it is. It only changed what I did. It doesn't change what it is. It only changes what I did to it. The thing that I did to it could not create the thing. It doesn't make the thing. It's just a thing that I did to it. The action is separate from this. And the fact that both of you are divided, not both of you, but both camps are divided. The fact that both camps are divided is evidence and proof of the nuance of life. Right? So when asking the question, right? Well, before, you know what, let's close the argument about the Japan thing. So glass full, glass half empty, glass half full, glass half empty. You said that Japan the entire country just raised their age, the age from 13 to, they're all freaking PEDOs. And I don't know if that word's going to get video taken down, so whatever. They're all PEDOs, right? The entire country, because it took them that long to raise their age. First of all, you don't even know what's going on. You don't know Japan. Second of all, why can't you look at it as like, oh, yes, they actually did it. Finally, we're good. Why do we need a qualifier? I'm not telling you that you need to look at it positively. I'm just saying, think about the way your mind is choosing to put your us versus them mentality. Your morality, you think your morality is better than theirs. And you must voice it because you feel like if you don't, people will be in danger. Really? Let's get nuanced. What's up, Seminar? And Cosmo. Good to see my Splatoon people. I think Phil's in here too, and Dez. Let's go. I'd say it's half full. My reasoning is because water is what is being measured, therefore it's half full of water. I guess they must think that their current nationalization is better than the previous one. I don't know what you're saying. Like, I don't understand. But the point I'm trying to make is that no matter what the thing is, you control your reaction to it. You control your thoughts about it. You control your actions in response to everything. You control all of it. The way you control it is by having the thing, looking at it, right? Saying, is this helpful or harmful? Whatever. To myself, to everyone else. In a perfect world, everyone would do this, right? But I don't really think we should be in a perfect world. I think in a perfect world, we'd have nothing to work on, which sucks. That then we would have, we'd have Wall-E. It would be Wall-E. But the reason why I want to bring this back to the justice argument is because we have a really big issue right now of tolerating and supporting impulsivity. And the reason why we have this kind of, at least my main thought about why we glorify impulsivity is obviously related to, yes, we know that the algorithms love engagement and they rile up engagement, but that's not the point. The point is not that, reactions drive engagement and stuff like that. Yes, we know that, but it's not about that. What it's really about is why we feel so drawn to it nowadays, why we feel like we have to do that. And it's a complex road we have to go down, but I'm going to try to do it very succinctly and simply. We don't have art. We don't really have art like we used to anymore. We have a lot of created things. We have a lot of products. Products are a lot out there. We don't really have a lot of art for art's sake in the current modern time period. Why is that important? I'm going to open up my little rant right here, the second part of this rant, with a quote that I wrote down. I'm not quoting myself. No, it's just a thing that I wrote down that I wanted to tell you guys, which is, when you can't express yourself, you look for others to express for you. This is how idolization starts, in the tribal mentality. When you cannot express, you look for others to express for you. I want everybody to keep this in mind when it comes to this art conversation. So the reason why I'm saying this is because we right now do not appreciate fantasy, really. We're not fantasy people, especially a lot of young people. This is not young people's fault. I'm not blaming young people. It's these things. When the internet moved away from this and moved to this, all hell broke loose. It was like game over. Because the thing is, before this, it was really hard to see a lot of things all the time. You had to face reality as it is. You really just had to face reality. Face it. Like, whatever is there outside, you go outside your house and you face it, right? If you want to find your community, you had to go out and find it. You might not even have it. Okay, then you're forced to deal with things yourself. Whatever. Some kind of way, these reactionary people were outliers of communities. Every single person wasn't a reactionary person. Like, if we had stuff, we talk it out, whatever, right? A lot of these reactionaries were people that we look to, like, oh, that's really cathartic. It's like getting a dose of catharsis. Like, oh man, I really want to, I'm really mad at this person, but I can't do anything because I'm at work. Let's look at some fights. Why do people like looking at fights? Why do people like looking at fights? Why do people like looking at other people take down other people? Why do people like, watching arguments and beefs, all the drama, why do we like all this stuff? Why do we like this? Yes, I still have my Pasmo. Listen, it doesn't expire. This is one of the few things in the world that doesn't expire anymore, so I'm going to keep it. But, yeah, why do we like doing all this stuff? Well, here's the thing. When we have a conversation with somebody about a topic like this, and we say, This is a very bad man who did bad things. He deserves to blah, blah, blah. It's like, dang, bro. Like, wow. Why do you feel that you have to get that off your chest? Like, why does suddenly everybody got something to say? Like, super, super deep, heavy, like, really reactionary emotions all of a sudden. Like, we've become so radicalized. The entire society is radicalized. And it's because we keep looking at radical stuff. We're like monkey see, monkey do. We emit what we absorb. That's why transcribing is so good, right? We are going to put out into the world what we take in. And the cycle continues. Other people are going to take in what we put out. So if you don't know how to process your emotions before you talk to somebody else, all the emotions that you have never learned how to express or process is going to come out towards somebody else. That is what's happening on the internet right now. That's what's been happening. It's been escalating at a crazy rate over the past like 15 years. It's been escalating like crazy. And it wasn't always like that. Like, we used to, like 100 years ago, 80 years ago, 70, whatever, we used to idolize people that were like calm. Like the super like handsome, sexy man or whatever was like the calm, collected one who like knew what he was doing and blah, blah, blah. Like, that was like the thing. But now it's like we've gotten to a point where the people that we love and idolize are the people that say what we can't say. Like, they're doing what I wouldn't do or what I couldn't do. Like, yeah, do that. And we love it. Like, come on, you got to stand up for us. And it's like, if one day you get angry and you just blow as hard as you can into this thing, watch what that does. Watch what that does. Before you talk to somebody, get on the piano, hit it. Get on the drums, break a head. And then your anger subsides when you realize that you got to replace the head. No, I want to listen, or I don't know, like, draw a picture if that's your thing that you like. Dance, jump around, cook a really spicy dish. I don't know, whatever it is. Do it without words. Try it. This is extremely important. And the reason why it's important is because the first thing I want to say right now is, of course, there are certain things that are very extreme. Certain things are very extreme. Like, some people live in extreme poverty. Some people in the world, listen, the only people in the world that can't really think like this, and it's not actually true. I'll explain a little bit. We've seen the evidence of this. Are people that have, like, people in certain parts of the world that are constantly getting bombed. And like they're constantly getting their lives ended and they're in danger. There's no safety, right? Even those people they still got kids that's drawing just to keep themselves calm. But we're in our safe air-conditioned rooms with our little chai latte, scrolling our phones, getting super angry and messaging. It's like, because this is what we got to do. And it's like, isn't that crazy? It's so interesting to me. And it's something I've been thinking about for a long time as someone who grew up close to poverty. Like in almost poverty. Really, really interesting to me. Very, very interesting to me. And so, what is the main difference between people who grow up in situations like that and have to learn how to deal with it versus someone safe in the middle of Seattle or something who like is really getting angry about this stuff? Usually, those people who have to go through stuff like that in those really impoverished areas, they have a community. Sometimes. Or at least they learn how to deal with those situations. But a lot of people don't really have a lot going on in their life. And now, if you're looking at constant strife, constantly looking at the world, right? Like, you're getting angry. You want to change it. You want to do something. And then you want to blame other people for things that are bad. And like, no matter what, like, they're wrong, you're right. And it's like, it's crazy how like, you got to manage your emotions. Because first of all, you got to remember, you originally did not think anything about this because you didn't have to deal with it yourself. Most of us are safe. Most people, if you're one of the 200 something people watching this stream right now, you are safe. I don't think there's a lot of people in this stream right now that have their lives in danger. Right? So why do you need for yourself, if you are safe, why is this constantly in the forefront of your mind? Why can't you, if you have an opportunity to be on the outside, you have an opportunity to say, wait a minute, I'm here. I'm not there. Let me think about this. Let me think. Do I care about humanity or do I care about being right? A lot of times we end up expressing things that we feel inside at other people because we just need something to get out. We just need it to get out. If we were concerned about humanity and really actually viscerally affected by lives being lost, we wouldn't give in to barbaric tribal mentality of like, this person got to have their life ended. I'm using words carefully. This person got to have their life ended. They said a lot of stuff. I want everyone to feel what I feel. That's what it comes down to a lot of times. It's not about making things right. Because here's the thing that y'all got to realize. The example I was going to bring up earlier about the justice system is that if somebody gets hit by a car, why do we not have civilian justice? If somebody got hit by a car, should the punishment for that person be for you to hit them with their car? Like, what if we really did? What if, so many people want to like get rid of police, get rid of justice, get rid of all this stuff for society? Yeah, let's do it. If we do it, go ahead. You know what? Somebody might be like, you hit my daughter with your car, I'm gonna now hit you with mine. Do you care about the fact that your daughter got hit? Or do you care about the fact that you're just angry? Why are you not satisfied until that person gets hit and hurt the way you got hurt? Arson, yes, I agree with you. But most people think that that's what it is. That's what that is. Because it's like making things, because the idea of justice, right? You said that's not justice, that's revenge. I don't know. Let's look at the definition. Let's look at Merriam-Webster dictionary. Acting or being in conformity with what is morally upright or good. Is that really not justice? Really? I would think that based on the way society is going right now, especially if you look at social media, I would say that there is nothing more just. It's the most just thing in the world that if you hit somebody with a car, they should get hit back with a car because that's morally right. They should learn the lesson. The only way to learn the lesson is if they feel what I felt. They need to understand why it was wrong. Like that's justice. That's morally right. Let's take another extreme example. I'm going to get real sensitive. And I guess I have to say this before I say this example, because some of y'all might get real weird about this, which is fine. I get it. But chomos. I have to say that I'm a victim myself. When I was 7, I have to say that because if I don't, then people are going to think I don't get it and don't understand, blah, 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 whatever, all that kind of stuff. I found out 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, 4 months before I moved to Japan. I was in the room talking to my mom, and my mom said, because I realize it's going to sound funny, but because his name was Mario. So I was going to say Mario died, but people who don't understand was going to be like, what are you talking about? No. So yeah, his name was Mario. And my mom was like, yeah, Mario died. Because I told her about what happened to me. He was like 40 or 41 or 42. I was the one that had the thing happen to me, my reaction was not, yes, he got it. He got what was good. That wasn't my reaction. My reaction was like, oh, dang. That was my reaction because I don't want people to die. I'm not a vengeful person. I don't want people to die. I'm not looking for people to die when and this is someone who did things to me more than once, and I didn't want him to die. Something that happened to me. It's fine. It's cool. I'm good. But when I heard this, you know what I'm saying? Like when I heard this, my reaction wasn't like, all these posts we see, which honestly I'm very suspicious of. I think you got to be real careful about the internet. You can't trust everything you see because some of these posts are they're just saying stuff like, oh, my abuser finally, died today or something. You don't even know if that's a real person. You actually don't even know if they actually got SA'd. You actually don't even know they might just be copying the template of somebody else's post just to get likes. I've seen some real suspicious posts. And as someone that is a victim of that, always felt that was really strange. Always felt really strange about that. Y'all got to be careful. But that type of stuff is actually influencing the way people will think, because you have a lot of 13, 14-year-olds might be reading this and they'll think this is how I'm supposed to think because we're learning from society. We're learning from society how to understand this thing. This thing right here. Because if we look at the word conformity, acting or being in conformity. Conformity with what? Wait, my video is not here. Okay, because look at this. If we're looking at conformity with what? With what? With the word moral is here. How do we determine morals? If we're the only person on earth, what's a moral? If the world suddenly blows up right now, it's gone. Everything, like there's a nuke goes off and somehow you're the only one that survives. If you go into if you're hungry and everyone's dead and you go into a supermarket and take an apple and leave without paying for it, is that morally wrong? Seriously. If you're the only person on earth, you don't need morals. Unless you believe in something higher than yourself, which then removes you from the equation, puts it in the hands of something outside of you. This is the reason why I'm saying that we need to be careful and curb our ideas about the idea of justice and what is just. We have to be very careful. Because when it comes to ourselves and our own sanity and our health and our personal health, we need to be very careful about what we want to see in the world. We have to be very careful about what we want to present. If we really have these moral ideas, right? We need to understand that two things can be true. You can have, and this is something that you usually learn as you get older. You have the things that let me move this. You have the things that you feel about society, right? The things that you think are correct and right and just for society to function, and the things that you think are correct and just for you to function. Let's look at it scientifically. Almost pseudo-scientifically. I don't know. As scientific as I can get. If we're basically biologically coded to survive, right? And if we don't want to survive, it's kind of like a mutation or some type of mental illness or something, right? We're kind of hardwired to survive and procreate and all that kind of stuff. The conservative way of thinking is rooted in basically as tribal as you can get. Who are the people in America that are usually associated with being the most conservative? Who are those people? White people. White American God-fearing Christians, right? Those people are considered the most conservative. Why is that? Why is Japan a mostly conservative nation? Somebody said rich people. No, it has nothing to do with that. That's the narrative, people. You got to be careful of stories. Don't tell stories. Look at this logically. Why in the world would a place like Japan want to be conservative? Trey's on the right direction. Villager is in the right direction. Absolutely. Both of them are in the right direction. Black basketball is in the right direction. Trey hit it on the head again. No, Neo, that's not what I'm talking about. Look at this logically without putting any type of connotation on it. This is logically, not curb your emotions, and don't think about this with like a Netflix story attachment. This is not really about maintaining status quo or whatever. That's an extra thing. The thing that comes back, like this is the scientific, it's not religion. Religion is what's used. It's not religion. The reason why, reading about Meiji era, I know a lot about Japanese history. Japan's. The thing about Japan, let's look at it in a way that a 6-year-old can understand. It's an island. For most of its history, it's an island, right? So it's an island. It makes sense, right? It's an island. So why would Japan want to be so conservative? Because on a very tribal level, if they accept too much of what's coming outside, they will cease to exist. If you think about it from the let's think about it this way. If you have a family, you have kids. Do you care about other people's kids before you care about yours first? If you have kids, is your first thought like, I need to make sure all the kids in the world are safe? No. If you're like in an African tribe or something in 952 AD or BC, whatever, are you thinking about the kids over in another place, like, and making sure that they're good while your kids are starving? You don't got enough money for them, but you got enough money to donate to this. No, you're not. And don't even lie. You know you're not. You making sure that my wife, my kids, whatever I got, this stays tight. I'm not letting nothing else get in the way of this. And if I got a tribe of people that's also willing, you know what I'm saying? Now we take care of each other's kids. We're now we all together. This is us. If somebody from another tribe come out of there and start bringing some other mesh stuff in there, like if you're a community that only eats, I don't know, you only eat chicken. Chicken is what your entire tribe has survived on for 100, 200 years. If somebody all of a sudden bring a steak in from another tribe that you don't know, you're going to be like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Keep that joint away from me, man. Cause listen, I want to be safe. I don't know what that is. I've been cool with chicken, and nothing's been wrong with us. Why do we got to do that? Why should I have to eat your steak because you telling me it's good? Like, we've been cool. Why can't I just keep raising my kids on the chicken? BY, I like what you just said. Spoken like someone who doesn't have kids. I'm not assuming that you don't. But you said, yes, you need all of the kids to be safe. If other kids are in danger, why not yours? This is exact classic, like, Seattle UW student, 20-year-old, whatever, like, liberal, like, complete talk. This is exactly the type of talk of someone who is 2,000 miles away from the action. This is the exact rhetoric of someone who needs to find something to care about. I guarantee you, I've not met a single parent who they got their 3 and 5-year-old, and before their 5-year-old and 3-year-old got something, they out there going out and rallying and protesting in the street for somebody else's kids to be safe. That doesn't happen. There might be some fringe cases, and usually those cases, somebody got to call CPS. I don't know, or something. But no matter if you are, it does not matter if you're liberal, conservative, alt-right. Yes, I said it. Alt-right or like leftist, socialist, communist, whatever. It does not matter. It does not matter. You are looking for your kid first. That's just how it is. That's how parenting works, right? Look at, Ralph, if my kid is drowning and 10 of the kids are drowning, sorry, but I'm saving my kid first. Yes. 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 You meant, well, you didn't say what you meant, so I had to go with what you said. Like, I had to go with what you said. So, like, I don't assume things. I looked at what you said. If that's what you meant, cool. That's what you meant, cool. We just like, yeah. It's all good, and we chilling. And look, I learned what you said, and now we're cool. I'm not staying mad at you. We're good. I wasn't even mad. I was just like riled up, like, this is a really interesting thing to say. So, cool. Thanks for that. But anyway, you get what I'm saying? This is a really important thing. So your brain changes when you have a kid. It's one thing to say something. It's another thing for your brain to be sending intense signals. Yeah, to protect your kid at all costs. You dig? You dig? So how does this relate? You probably can already understand, right? How this relates to having the discourse and the passion and the idea about what justice is. Why is it that 18 to 22, 24, whatever year old college students are more likely to be liberal? Usually, I mean, it's kind of changing now. It's not more likely to be liberal, but we're more likely to be radicalized. And like older folks are more likely to be conservative. What's the reason for that? I don't know the exact scientific reason, but the hypothesis, the thing that I think, is because these are things that you learn as you go through life, and certain things get taken from you and that you get into your life taken from you. You start to learn how to like really compartmentalize and value and cherish what's important. Until you have that for yourself, you have to learn to latch on to something else to feel. That's why my advice, this is why my advice is that if you're a young person, invest your time into this more. This is the thing you want to be investing most of your energy in. Because more often than not, if you're 19 years old, I'm sorry to say it, I was 19 years old once and I wasn't right either. Most of the time, what you're saying is impulse first or just simply not right because you haven't lived enough life yet. And you should probably spend a little more time listening and less time talking. If you feel something, go here. Or talk to someone in private that is receptive to your feelings. Most people don't have that, and most people are not talking like that. So if you don't have something, you're going to look to somebody else to express for you. A lot of y'all watch me. Even y'all in this chat right now, a lot of y'all watch me because I'm the guy that can like express things that you can't feel like you can express. What's up, John? Thank you for the $4.99. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's good to see you, bro. All my Splatoon fans are here, man. John, I hope you're safe, man. Really hope you're safe. But the point I'm trying to say is that a lot of y'all don't have a community, and B, a medium of expression. These two things are so pivotal for having a healthy society. So important. We need that. Without these two things, you have violence and civil war. Period. It really is that simple. And I really worry hard because, again, if you don't learn how to process and deal with how you feel before you go to someone and get it out, because it's been in you the whole time. It's just been inside. You got to get it out. It's going to come out. And then you might have to apologize, but you're not going to apologize. You don't want to, because you're like, why should I apologize? I'm entitled to how I feel. Everyone's entitled to something. Everyone's entitled. But if you just learn how to, like, first of all, if you dedicate yourself to a craft, to a passion, to something, to being good at something, if you really want to be good, you don't have time for all that other stuff. There's like literal space in your brain cannot be filled with that other stuff. It literally takes you away because you're either going to be good at doing your craft, or you're going to be really good at talking smack at people. It's going to come out. It's going to come out in some way. It's going to come out. It's not luxury. The dedication is not luxury. That is a falsehood, and I'm wondering why we think that. Why do people think that artistic expression and being able to devote time to a craft is a luxury? Thank you, Thank you, Jason. There you go. With a passion, you won't do stuff that might keep you from that passion. Say that again. Say that again. Yes. One lemma. I understand. Brother, how was hip hop born? How was hip hop born? We don't like talking about, we don't like talking about jazz because it's like instruments are like thousands of dollars or whatever. But, you used to be able to buy like a saxophone for like $25 in a pawn shop back in the day, which you can still do, by the way. You can still buy instruments for super cheap, by the way. You don't have to buy them you don't have to put my code PBAR in to get $450 off at JL Woodwind. You don't have to do that. You don't need to do that. You can literally go borrow somebody's instrument. Like us cats in the hood, when I was growing up, I didn't, listen, bro, let me show you something. This thing right here. This thing right here. This thing right here. My clarinet. I didn't own a clarinet. I started on clarinet. Guys, I started on clarinet. First instrument I ever played. I didn't own a clarinet until I was 23. I didn't own a clarinet. I did not own a clarinet. But you know what we did have? Now you're going to understand where this is going, I think. Because we have to talk about the future. There's the solutions we could do now, and then there's the future. I got to get real. With you. I had an art school. And no, it's not a conservatory. No, this is a free public art school in the 90s that I went to called Bethune Elementary School in Hollywood, Florida. And you could pay $20 to rent an instrument for the entire year. And you can practice it. All of that. We in the hood. I walked out. Guys, as soon as I was old enough to walk by myself, I was walking to and from school. Every day. Went to the corner store. We didn't eat lunch at home. I got free lunch at school because, you can only get free lunch at school if you're broke. We were broke. My family couldn't. It's like, all of that. I mean, like I've seen, man, when I was 7, saw some gang violence, saw somebody die, saw somebody get ran over by a car. I saw all of this stuff. But guess what was $20 a year? Guess what my mom did? They ain't ready for that. I know they're not ready for that. I know. That's okay. That's what we're talking about it. You know what my mom did as a single parent, living with my grandmama? And, sleeping on the couch for like 8-9 years to give me my own room, to give me the experience of being a boy. Little mama. Yeah, she did that to protect me and make sure that I was in the house safe from all the stuff that was going on in the neighborhood so I could practice my instrument. I was lucky. I don't call that luck. I call that being a freaking parent. That ain't luck. That is not luck. That should be what is normal. Everyone else is having bad luck. I didn't have good luck. Everyone else is having bad luck. We need to make this the norm. The only way we're going to truly fix our society, in my opinion, is if we keep this here. Because what did black folks do when they didn't have arts education and couldn't go to a school in their inner city? People going to find a way, no matter what you're going through. I mean, you talk about the 70s when people was really having danger and you couldn't even, New York, where hip hop was born, bro, you couldn't even stand outside the corner without fear of being shot or robbed or something. And people still found a way, no matter what, to make music out of nothing with no instruments. Bro, you cannot tell me. Not a single person can tell me. Not a single person can tell me that you can't do. These aren't rich people. They took the music they already had talk, rap, do something, dance, do something. Because it used to be a value in our society. It used to be something that was a value. But now, these things have replaced that. The reason why they have replaced that is because of something that a lot of you are talking about. That's a really good point. I'm going to talk about it. It's a really, really good point. Because the issue is not people being lazy. The issue is not that people don't care about art. The people are not the problem. It is our responsibility now. We are responsible for it. But it's not our fault. But just because it's not your fault doesn't mean it's not your responsibility. If you want to move on from something, and you want to get good, and you want to like really have a great life, you need to take responsibility for things. You must understand the concept of fault versus responsibility. It is a Dr. K line because I love me some Dr. K. It's been changing my life, man. The amount of things that I've like gone through in the past year alone, stuff that I've done to myself, and even things that like I've done in the past that I still had to forgive myself for and not beat myself up for, and realize I can't blame myself now for what I didn't know last year or 2 years ago. I can't blame myself for what I didn't know 10 years ago. I can't blame myself for I can't do that. I can't blame myself for that. This has been transformative in my life. It's realizing that I cannot blame myself. But if I'm either mad at somebody else for doing something to me or depressed at myself for thinking I'm worthless, whatever, I'm giving up. I'm giving up. I'm completely giving up. Y'all gotta watch Dr. K's video, especially Marco. Like if you get sick or something, Dr. K has a video on like how it's very real that some people who, like, we always love to go to the extreme, guys. We always love to go to the extreme. For some reason, whenever we talk about these things, the first thing people who are safe say is, you're not thinking about the people that are dying. You're not thinking about the people getting shot at every day. You're not thinking about the people that have cancer. You're not thinking about why do I need to think about the 1%? You are not them. You are a living, breathing person who just ordered DoorDash and watching my stream and got home from work and you make $25 an hour or something. And you got 2 jobs even. And you're fine. Or maybe you're living with your folks. Y'all are not the cancer people. Y'all are not the people getting Y'all are not the people getting shot at. Y'all are not the people getting bombed at. Y'all are not those people. So why are you worrying about them? Thank you, Tsukikage. Yeah, watching the stream in 1080p. It's not even stuttering. I don't care. I don't care if it's 99%. It's not you. Why do we have to blame other people? Not even blame. Why are we using those people? Why are we using those people to determine how we live our life? This is the reason why social media is in such a terrible state right now. We can't log out. We can't log out. Because of this thing, other people's lives are now our lives. We don't know our own lives anymore. Guys, we don't know our own life. We don't know our feelings. We don't know our identity. We don't know any of this stuff. We only know other people's identity, other people's feelings, other people's sicknesses. We don't know any of ours. We are a shell. We are a hollow vessel and a sponge that is accepting every single thing that comes to us. That's not called being open. That's not open. That's something else. Some of y'all don't have hinges on your doors. The door got to open and the door got to close sometimes. Oh, Jason Marsalis in here? I didn't see him. Where is he at? Oh, man. You donated $5. I didn't realize you did that. Thank you so much, man. It's great to see you. It's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. I really hope you're doing well. Because you're awesome. And y'all, if y'all haven't checked out any of what Jason Marsalis puts out, he also makes content too, by the way. He also talks a lot about this stuff. incredible percussionist, drummer, vibraphone, everything. And if you don't know him, it's ridiculous. You should. But it's always good to see you. Like I've also kind of been influenced by a lot of the really calm, intellectual, but very real information that Jason has given me since I was in high school. So I'm very, very appreciative of that. So appreciate you. Always great to see you. Thank you so much for coming through, and thank you for the $5. But we're like a vessel. Yeah, Laura, look, isolation and the detachment it allows for is a great struggle of our current time. Yes. And thank you, Sniper. That's not being open. That's being unguarded. Yeah, listen, regardless of what you believe in, one of my favorite quotes ever is Richard Dawkins saying, like, don't be so open-minded that your brain falls out. Kind of related. Not exactly the same thing, but it's similar. You're talking about nuance. You got to remember how lucky and privileged we are. See, I just looked at my reaction and then had to stop for a second because that's what I'm saying. Didn't I just say that we're all privileged? Didn't I just say that this is exactly the reason. This is exactly the reason why we need to be careful and calm down. This is the reason why. Because we are privileged. It's because we are privileged that we need to realize this. And if we don't, what is it going to do for our own personal health? We are turning ourselves into martyrs. Everyone wants to be a martyr. We want to look at someone else's suffering and we have to look at someone else's suffering and it becomes our suffering. That's overriding empathy. That's not normal empathy. I'm saying this in relation to the passion pursuit stuff. But again, you all think that I'm saying that you need to, this is the other thing. And you know what? Maybe I should talk about this. The nuance that needs to be added to this conversation is that people seem to think, as a result of these things, as a result of the world and how we've all moved towards getting rid of arts education, getting rid of art importance, instead of art for art's sake, it's art for business. Everyone thinks that dedicating yourself to a craft means being the best and making money. Why? Since when in history has making art been about being a virtuoso? Since when has making art? This is the problem with the jazz community right now. I didn't want to make this specifically about the jazz community today, but this is really important as a trend that's also been happening in the past 5 or 10 years on the internet that we need to address. And is that people went from simply being okay in jazz education to moving from 3 notes to 5 notes and being very happy that they moved on, to moving from 3 notes to 5 notes and firing their teacher and complaining that they don't know 100 yet. Why does dedication to a craft mean why does dedication to a craft mean you have to go why is that dedication? Why is dedication to a craft not I don't know what that is. I just made it up. It might be something. Whatever. I just made it up. But if that makes you feel great and that makes you feel freaking, it makes you, it's cathartic. It's the best thing you ever heard. Why is that less valuable than freaking, why? Why is that the thing? Tell me why that is the thing that matters more than freaking, why? Tell me why somebody. It's what's really funny about that? It's almost like reverse privilege or reverse racism or something. It's the same thing. It's people like to call me elitist. That's elitist. Thinking that dedication means being good. That's elitist. So anybody coming at me for that, bro, if you got a freaking slide whistle or pan flute or some crap and you got them 3 notes and you bro, this is literally what people have been doing for thousands of years and are still doing in most places in the world. This right here is the problem we have, the problem that we got to fix. This is the jazz education problem. This is the music education problem, period. We have separated the idea of simply enjoying art from, like, I don't know, pursuing it. It's like the reason why I said this is the reason why I said we need art. We need art to be common again, not scarce. This is the solution to solving so many of our issues, because you would spend so much time hitting that. Whenever you feeling, I mean, bro, it's like working out. People say like getting in shape is a privilege. Go hit some push-ups. Go. Do some pull-ups outside. Go to the park. Walk. Run. Free. I need protein. Go get some chicken. It's there. It's cheap. I don't got chicken. Rice and beans. Who don't got that? Eat something. It's really, 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 really important for us to understand this. That no matter where you come from, you can do something. And this is one of the things I love that Dr. K talks about. It's like the Pueri Turners thing. Like, if it's not perfect, it's not good enough. It's like, you got to accept that enough is okay. This will help all of you who are on the journey to play jazz too, by the way. If you are trying to get good at music, stop thinking that, oh, I transcribed one solo. Why can't I play yet? Why can't I play? Why aren't you glass half full, half empty? All of y'all are like looking at this part after you transcribe one solo. You're looking at this. When you transcribe one solo, you're looking at this part. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at this. You're not looking at this. I transcribed one solo, guys. Why can't I can't play yet? Man, God, there's got to be a secret. Give me some licks and some PDFs. Give me all the I need something now so I can be killing. Isn't that unfair to this? Be fair to yourself. Be kind to yourself. It's not frou-frou. It's not like soft. It's not cringe. It's literally the fact that you had 0 before and now you have this. That's crazy. This is why I say the issue right now with regards to like this and this, the justice kind of thing, is that people are too obsessed. People are too obsessed with reality and results. We've gotten to a point now where we can't handle the abstract. We can't handle the subtle. It's all visceral and real. And if somebody else is having a problem, it's our problem now. This is the absolute number one thing I think we need to change. This needs to be fixed. Needs to be fixed. There's things that we can do now and there's things that we can do later. In terms of things that we can, let's work in reverse order. The things that we can do later. We need to, on an individual level, well, this is kind of something you can do now and later. On an individual level, develop an appreciation for the abstract. Develop an appreciation for fiction. Teach that appreciation for fiction and abstraction to kids. Keep that there. Restrict as much as you can unrestricted access to reality that is not in front of them. It's a very key component. I didn't say shelter them and keep them from going outside. Keep them from this thing that we think is reality. Reality content is not reality. You understand that, right? I want to make sure everybody understands this. Reality content is not reality. Say that to yourself if you have to. Write it down and look at it. What you see here every day on these things is reality content. It's not even like me being all, I don't know, like, what's the word? Like figurative, or me trying to be deep. I'm not even being deep. What is content? It's like a thing like that has something else in it. If I'm going to put out some content on the internet. This right now, what you're watching is content, right? This is content. You're not actually looking at me speak right now. Like you are, but you're looking at a screen. And you're looking at a very curated version of the screen. You only see these edges of the box. I'm getting deep on you now, for real. You see these edges. You don't see what's over there. You can't see what my bed is. You don't know what's on my bed. You can't see Yamper. Yamper's, I love my Yamper. You can't see what's outside that window over there. You can't see what's outside this door. You can't see that. You don't even know there's another door over here. You can't see my closet. You're only seeing me right now. You're seeing me, the person talking to you into the camera. That's reality content, guys. That is reality content. What we got going on right now is an overload of reality content. The ratio of reality content to reality has flipped. When I was growing up, it was the other way around. You see my closet being built different. You understand what I'm saying, guys? We need to be careful about what we're seeing because we're over consuming reality. To the point where it's not reality anymore. It's become our fantasy. It's become our fantasy. It's become this visceral consumption. And we seem to think it's real because it looks like it. Somebody taking a video of what's going on in the world is not reality. That's somebody taking a video of what's going on in the world. You're not there. It goes, yes, exactly. It is the detachment point. This is what I'm saying about detaching your thoughts and your emotions from your identity, like separating it. You must look at this as a device. What has happened? I've seen, as a person that's a millennial, I've been able to see the beginning of the internet, right? I've been able to see the beginning of the internet when I was like 8 years old, World Wide Web, all of that. When we had to boot up the computer and we go on the internet for a couple hours or whatever, and then we turn it off, we got to go back to real life. Especially because back then, you know, we had to like, if you want to talk on the phone, you had to get off the internet. My grandma would complain. I'd be trying to be on cartoonnetwork.com or like trying to message my friends on AOL or something. And my grandma would yell at me from the other side of the room, like outside. She'd like, PJ, because that was my name. Get off the internet. I need to use the phone. Get off the internet. Because my dad had built us a computer. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, so I had to get off the internet. Like, what you gonna do? Imagine if y'all had to do that. Man, y'all internet go out. Most of y'all would drive to freaking Comcast or Spectrum or whatever internet. Y'all would drive to your ISP. Y'all be like, what's going on? Like a Drake here. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't pick up a book. For some reason, you need it. For some reason, bruh, I didn't need it. My mama didn't need it. None of us needed that like that. We have become so dependent on this because we think it's real. It's gotten to the point where most of our reality is this. Like looking at this screen, looking what's here on this screen, man, is more real than what's outside. Bro, it's not. Why are we? One of the reasons why it's so hard to exist and why it's a crisis for young people and why I want to help them, because it's not young people's fault. But when I was young, we guys, when I was a kid, not even kid, like I was in middle school, the Iraq War was going on. I was alive for 9/11. I was like, what, 2 days ago? I was alive for 9/11. You think the tragedy? And that was like the last thing that happened on our soil that was from like another country, like since that time. You think tragedy just started happening? You think people in the world just started suffering? You think people like, really? There's people now that think it's worse now than it's ever been. How do we know that? We didn't have cameras. And we already know that in history, that most of history is written by the victor, right? Whoever wins is the one writing the book, unless somebody in there trying to like sneakily looking at what they're telling the real story. We can't trust it, right? We do not know. Thank you, World War II. We do not know if it's actually worse. But people really think that. People think that while they're sitting at home, ordering their DoorDash, that it's really like we know factually. Bruh. Listen, man, the type of stuff our grandparents and great-grandparents on them went through, you wouldn't last a second in their shoes. You stand to be a contrarian. It's just funny. I like it. I appreciate it. You see what you're doing, right? B? You see what you're doing? I want to know if you're aware of what you're doing right now. I would love to have a conversation with you, actually. Like, join the Discord. Somebody post the Discord link. Come in there and have a conversation with us. Come in there and have a conversation. Talk with us. Talk with us, bro. We love that. We love to have kind of like civil conversations in the voice chat. We do that. Great. Thank you, bro. Because that is the better place. Because like I'm on stream right now. So if we're going to talk, I would rather talk on stream anyway. So, all right. Let me go ahead and find this link and I'll give it to you. Invite people. Yeah. So everybody who's here can join the Discord too. Go to off topic. Just don't talk about these things in other, like it's called off topic because it's not music related. So it's kind of music related, but yeah. We try to foster a place for people to like say the things that they want to say, but like in a civil way without attacking people because we don't like attacking people. But it's still the point is that the things you're saying are still missing my point. Because no matter what goes on in the world, you're still controlling how you feel about it. The problem is our ability to control these feelings is being hijacked by people controlling social media. And we don't realize it. How else would you know about what's going on in the world if it wasn't for social media, right? How else would you know? Probably have to watch the news, right? What happens if you don't watch the news? What happens if you don't know what's going on? From your home, right? As you as an individual person. What happens if you don't pay attention to what's going on in one part of the world? What did we do back in the 90s, I guess? As early as recent as that? What did we do when we didn't know what was going on in certain parts of the world? Because the news wouldn't show us. I would say we had a lot more time to do stuff. Didn't care really. Yeah. We have a really unique opportunity nowadays. Do you understand that unique opportunity? We have a really unique opportunity. The unique opportunity we have right now is also our biggest obstacle, unfortunately. The biggest opportunity we have that is our biggest obstacle is the fact that because everything is coming into us so fast from the cell phones, we have to be extra diligent and vigilant in how we respond to this information. Here's the thing. Let's talk about religion for a second. And I know I might drop viewership by like 80 viewers now if I say this, but it's fine. I'm not advocating for or against religion. The only thing I'm going to say is the interesting thing about our society in the past, let's say recently. The thing that is most interesting about the relationship that religion has had in our development of Western society is that from the beginning, well, let's not even say from the beginning. One of the fundamental things about religion is that it gives people like an instruction set for life. What is the hardest thing that all of us in the modern world who live in like kind of like progressive, like predominantly atheist parts of the world, right? Like, what is the hardest thing for us? It's thinking about purpose in life. Thinking about what we should do, like thinking about like how to be happy. Thinking about like, man, there's certain things I wish I would have known when I was younger, blah, blah, blah. What do I do? Like, there's so many things. It's like we're confused. We have to do extra, like, it's like you got to do extra work if you're an atheist. Why? Because if you're religious, it doesn't matter what religion. If you're religious, and you believe in that wholeheartedly, you are prescribed a clear-cut, exact way to live life. It takes all the guesswork away. It takes all the guesswork. Morality is right there. What you should do, what you shouldn't do. What happens if you do good? What happens if you don't do good? It seems so enticing. It's like easy because like it takes away that wonder. Religion gives you answers. Exactly. There's another thing that it does. So it said like it doesn't matter. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about. We're falling into the danger zone. Listen to me for a second. You said it gives you the answers, but it could be the wrong ones. Oh no. This is Doesn't this sound like everybody? Doesn't this sound like everybody on the internet? Oh my God, what if it's the wrong thing? Like, anxiety. I could do this, but what if it's wrong? I could do that, but I could transcribe this solo, but if I do, then I don't have time for that. Man, I got time for this. Oh my God. See, I want most of you guys to think clearly. I want y'all to think clearly. Like, stay with me for a second. Stay with me for a second about my train of thought. Not everybody can stay with me, but I want you to try. I'm not telling you to be like, this is the issue. Like, if you were to follow your impulse and your reaction, the first thing you would do is you would think immediately that I'm telling you to be religious. And you would type that in the keyboard. That's your impulse. That's what this thing is training us to do. We see other people do it and we think that's the right thing to do. We learn from, especially if you're Gen Z and Gen Alpha, you look at other people, somebody might say, hey man, your shoes are ugly. Man, you think my shoe? As opposed to like, hey man, your shoes are ugly. Curious, why do you think that? Imagine if that was the content that was viral. Instead of, man, your shoes ugly. What'd you say about my shoes? Boom. And then you feel good. You feel like, yeah, I feel great. But yeah, man, look at this guy. He punched it. I would love to do that. Y'all got to chill. If I'm telling you that, oh, this is the thing that religion has done for people, and the first reaction might be like, oh, you telling me to be Christian? No. That's like the pancakes and waffles thing on Twitter. You see like that picture that's floating around. Somebody says that they like waffles. And, oh, so you hate pancakes? It's like somebody can say they like waffles and somebody think they hate pancakes. Like, no, that's a whole completely different conversation. What are you talking about, right? Yeah, y'all need to understand that. Y'all need to think about that. I'm not telling you. I'm simply stating a fact of life that we can observe. That religion gives people an instruction set for living life that keeps the guesswork out. It also allows, if you are committed. Why do people talk about strengthening faith? You got to strengthen your faith. You know what that means? Usually it means that you face opposition that tests your faith. It tests how hard you believe in the thing you believe in. Right? That's a great exercise. It's like it's not about whether it's good or bad. It's a great exercise. It's a really great exercise, actually, if you think about it. Because what it does is it keeps you grounded in something, right? So that if you do come in opposition with something, you balance it against what you believe in. And you're just like, no, I'm going to stay the course. When somebody's offering me drugs, I'm not doing that. When somebody wants me to have relations outside of marriage, I'm not doing that. When someone wants me to go skip and do whatever or murder and steal, I'm not going to do that. Why? Because I don't have anything inside of me that's thinking like I don't have anything that's inside of me that's saying like, well, it does kind of feel good. Like what's one little thing gonna maybe I should. That's what most people without direction do. This is the reason why people fall to religion. That's why like we see so many criminals, so many like drug dealers, whatever, like who do all sorts of things. Why do they turn to God? It's the destruction set. It's there. It's like, yeah, you could do it by yourself. You don't need God, but it's a lot harder, guys. Because human nature does not want to do the right thing. Y'all don't understand this. You got to go back. You got to go back to this, guys. Go back to this definition. What is justice? Acting or being in conformity with what is morally upright or good. You learn that. Guys, you learned this. This is not in our DNA. Our DNA is not to act or be in conformity with what is morally upright. Our DNA is to not die and make more life and make sure that doesn't die. We have learned in humanities. We have learned in humanity. We have learned through evolution that we are stronger together. We've learned that. So we've created these codes to help make sure we continue to keep living. We realize that, oh, wow. Yeah, like if we really want to do this, we got to do this instead. You know what I'm saying? We realize that we've evolved past certain things so that when people do certain things that are against that, we got to get rid of them. Or, that's what quote unquote prison is supposed to be for that. Prison is supposed to be really, ideally, to remove people who are harmful to the fabric of society and put them in a place where they will not harm fabric of society. Newsflash, folks, the original intent of prison was not to reform people. That is an extra. That's an extra credit. Reform is extra credit. Like getting people like rehabilitated for society is like something they say to people. You all know that. And we know the history of police in America too. Right? We know the history of them. And regardless if Like, back in the day, we thought black people was monkeys. So you need all the Negroes. You need to take them off the street, right? Like, find whatever way. People don't like, okay, so they're not fit for society. We learned later that's not true. So we got to change it up. Okay, whatever. Now we got, at least on the surface, people don't like this, so we can't do that. It doesn't matter what the morality is. The point is that people have learned as humans to survive together, and anyone who is not interested in surviving together must get out of the group. If you're not with us to survive together, you got to get out. And now we come to justice. Why is this important in the public eye? This is important for one reason and one reason only. It's not to feel good. No, that's what other people, that's the human nature catharsis part of it. It's to discourage people from disturbing the fabric of reality, of society. That's all it's there for. It's there to discourage people from doing things that would break society and make people die and all this kind of stuff. Because anything that feels good in our DNA, dopamine, serotonin, all this type of stuff that makes us feel good. So like laughter, procreation, or like eating good food, art, music, like those are good. That's good. All right. So that means it's for life. Yes. All those things are for staying healthy because, melatonin helps you fall asleep, which is good because it helps you feel sleepy. Serotonin helps you keep connected to family and love your brother and everything and your mother and all whatever. Dopamine helps you to go towards things that have a lot of value for you. You need it. It's pleasure. You got to get it. What about like stealing? That makes you feel bad. Cortisol increases from fear, everything, right? Those things are bad. Fear is there to keep you from things that are going to kill you. Right? So we want to discourage the things that are directly harmful to us. The problem with nowadays is that we interpret everything with that same type of psychology. Guys, this thing only came out, like the first one of these things, what was that, 2007, 8? So about 17, 18 years ago was the first one of these. And the first time the internet got fast on them was like barely 12 years ago, 11, 12 years ago. Barely, when we got 4G. 14 years ago, something like that. Bro, this joint is new. We're not, as humans, we're not meant to evolve this quickly. Guys, the technology is moving faster than we are able to evolve with it. We are still operating on 1980s, whatever has been happening for the past hundreds of years. We're still operating on this hardware with completely new technology. How does this work? This works because there are scientists that study our brains and know exactly what makes us tick. They're hijacking existing human hardware, not new hardware. They're hijacking what is already known about us, that we've already studied for these decades, hundreds of years, whatever. They already know because we haven't evolved to catch up to how to use these things yet. Do you understand? It sounds like sci-fi. It quite literally is like that. It's quite literally like that. It's very important to understand this. Because we don't know how to handle this information overload. We do not know how to handle it, bro. So when it comes to all these things that we know, right? The reason why I talked about religion, right? When it comes to all the things that we have known and studied about ourselves, we have learned that no matter how much harm other people think religion causes, you have to remember that humans are tribal people. This world that we're living in right now, we are in another stage of development that humans are going to be studying this. If we still exist 100, 200 years from now, whatever, they're going to study this period because this is the first time we're coming into contact with this rapid rate of development. What's happening right now, the biggest issue of what's happening right now is the fact that we used to have moral fabrics for each other, for like whatever our respective societies. But in a place like America, you got so many people from different countries living in one place. No one can agree on anything. So there needs to be a new way of thinking in those areas. Places like New York LA, Chicago, New Orleans even. Like, this is what it used to be. Man, not so much anymore. Who knows? I don't know. They're like their own culture now. Seattle, all these different places where you got like massive groups, like massive amounts of 80, 90, 100 different ethnic groups. Not everybody's going to agree on one thing. But what about the rural town in the middle of Kansas, middle of South Carolina? They're like only one race mostly, one type of people. They can afford to be conservative. They're trying to protect their own. People in New York, they value protecting everybody. Because most people that go to these cities, what do? They go alone. Most people in this day and age are not moving to New York and LA and all whatever places, the lands of opportunity. They're not going with their whole family. I've never met maybe have I? I'm not sure. But I personally, in my memory, have not met a person. I'm sure they exist. I know they exist because people sometimes they move with families. Most people I've met have never moved to these places with their entire family. I've never heard somebody say, yeah, man, me and my 35 family members, we all decided to pack up and we're moving to communities in New York. No, it's not. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen that happen. I've only seen people go to New York because they got into a school or like they want to get more work. They go to LA to pursue acting career, all this kind of stuff. So you got all these different people that came from different places. You're going to have to find a way for all of them to live peacefully. So even within America, it's so funny. Even within America, people moved out west to like to have their own original thoughts. You know, to make new life, make new opportunity, whatever. That's why it's like people think California is just all liberals. Like, nah, man, I've been to the California countryside. I've seen some places that felt a lot less safe for me to be in as a black person than living in Florida. I've seen a lot of different things. The point is that in places like this, you can kind of exist. You're supposed to, the liberal mindset is there to help people coexist. The ideal would be to make everyone be able to do their own thing, right? I love that. I love the idea that everybody should be free to make their own decisions. We all kind of agree with that, right? That's like what we would like to. But what about people that live in a place that all they care about is their family? Because we've been caring about our own family as tribes for hundreds, thousands of years. Why are we demonizing these people for being human beings? Why are we demonizing these people for looking out for their own in the way that we want to look out for our own? This is the number one thing I've been thinking about, especially since I moved to Japan. I've been thinking about this for years, especially when I was in New York, because I was like kind of, as somebody who was a transplant from the South up to the North, I was always thinking like, it's very interesting, like weighing in all these values. I lost a bunch of viewers after I said that. And that's fine. It's fine. If y'all don't want to hear me talk about the fact that humans are humans, if y'all don't want to, if I love that. Thank you, Trey. Thank you for, man. See, you've been hitting the nail on the head. Ding, ding, ding. You one of the people that get it. You said, Patrick, because we are looking out for our own and they aren't conforming to us. Sorry to be reductive, but it is that reductive. It is that reductive. The difference, you want to know the main difference between like mostly conservative people and liberal people? The main difference is that the conservative like family the conservative family unit is when it's inside the home. The mostly liberal family unit is the one that's outside the home. It's almost as simple as that. Because most people who end up becoming liberals usually come from a place where they probably had a conservative family and they left them. There's something different about them that their conservative family didn't accept. And they didn't grow up with a political stance. They were just, I'm just living. But all of a sudden I came out as gay and my parents don't like it. I'm trans and they want me gone. So now I have to go with this side. Most humans, they don't grow up having a desire to be with a side. They go with the side that is protecting them. They go with the side that helps them feel safe and continue living. How many of y'all are in the chat that are trans people or in the LGBTQ community? How many of y'all are in here and grew up conservative? How many of y'all in here who grew up on the complete right-wing party probably got racist parents, sexist parents, all of this kind of stuff, right? Did y'all stay loyal to that side? Did you really feel like they had your back? No. So you went to the side that felt like it had your back. Isn't that easy? You want to find you got to find your family unit. That is the liberal family unit. The liberal family unit is the one that's outside the home in this country. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying that a lot of liberals think they don't think like conservatives. A lot of liberals like to delude themselves into thinking that they're not tribal. A lot of liberals like to delude themselves into thinking that they're so much better. But they don't realize that it's this. Conservative, liberal. The conservative family unit is inside the house mostly. The liberal family unit is outside. It's all this stuff in this room. Everything in this room is liberal. See, let me move this camera. Thank you for the $5, Steven. How much would I have to play to hear you play a bit of... I'll do it for you in a little bit. Maybe I'll do it for you. You got to protect me. Liberals want to protect Miku. Protect little buddy. I mean, look, little buddy's really cute. Little buddy's really cute. All right? They want to protect little buddy. They want to protect this Octo, Vimo. They want to protect that real talk sign. Why don't they want to protect this as much? Because most people who end up being liberals as young people, they lost that. They don't have that anymore. They literally cannot count on their family. They literally cannot count on the people that were supposed to raise them. They literally can't count on these people. They become this. Even like in Voltage, even if you grew up in a liberal home, it's not like I'm saying it's just for people who grew up in conservative homes, but it's more like people need to, regardless of what kind of home you grow in, most people, including myself, I was like this, have to escape the nest and go to a place where they can just be free. And usually it's the more liberal societies where people can not be harassed and heckled by people. It's not, liberals aren't like a breed of people. This is the thing that conservatives don't understand, rightfully so, right? Liberals aren't like a breed or a group of people. The irony is that to be liberal is to actually like accept the reality of everyone being different. Unfortunately, that is not what's expressed by a lot of people because we're so tribal. We have to be us versus them. We're tribal. The hardest pill for y'all to swallow, hardest pill, and that I'm a black person, and I understand this. As a black person, I'm not upset at racists. 5 years ago, I was on Black Facebook. We always call it like, there's like Twitter and Black Twitter. There's usually Black YouTube, whatever. I was on Black Facebook. And during the George Floyd protests, I was saying stuff that was really, really against the black narrative. They didn't like that. I was saying that colorism is a farce. I was saying I don't like the idea that we have to be identified by a color. I was saying that I don't like the idea that, like somebody named Raj from India or something can be darker than me, but then but he's not black, he's brown. But somebody that's Sinbad, like Sinbad's color, like super light skin or mixed, they're black. I was saying that as just a thought. It doesn't mean like it could have been a naive thought. Maybe it's naive, who knows? But I was saying that I just didn't like that I had to. I'd rather have identified by my ethnicity. I didn't want to identify by like an assignment that was given to me by oppressors. And even they didn't even consider that. They just went straight to, you don't think black is beautiful? But it's like, bro, like that's not what I'm saying at all. It's like I had to basically, somebody told me I had Stockholm syndrome, that I was siding with can you believe that? I had a black person tell me that I have Stockholm syndrome for not aligning with their views and thinking that white people are bad and we should defund this and do all the kind of, because I didn't say all that, I'm gonna have Stockholm syndrome. I'm sick in the head. That's crazy a thing to say to another person that you're supposed to love. Isn't that ridiculous? So I have straight up just not engaged with the black community because I have to talk with people in private. So I don't hate racists. Why? One, because I don't assume everybody to be violent until I see violence. First of all. That's the first thing I do. The second thing I do is I understand that there are a lot more casual, subconscious racists than conscious, violent racists in the world. That's the first thing that most people need to understand. That is the first thing that you need to understand. I'm talking about this because if I start talking about other groups, like, if I start talking about the LGBT or the trans community, all that kind of stuff, if I start talking about that before this, people will think I'm speaking out of turn. So I have to get y'all on the same page as me by talking about my own experience as growing up in the South, being denied being into the gifted program because of racism until I was in 3rd grade. Like, having experienced it myself and still not having hatred. Because my mom specifically told me when I was in college, I was wondering, like, because I had to learn a lot of Black history things on my own. My mom did teach me some Black history stuff, of course, but there was a lot of like really extra stuff that all my friends like super like that went to college for. Like, I haven't learned this. And my mom said there was certain things she didn't tell me because she didn't want me to hate white people. My mom told me there was certain things that she kept from me, and specifically put me in wanted me to get in the gifted program, and was delighted that I was in the arts program and the magnet program because it put me around a lot of people that were not Black. It didn't put me away from people that were Black. It put me around Black people plus other people that I would never have seen if I just stayed in my neighborhood. She wanted me to grow up different than how she did because she has her things. She and her friend were shot at in the same neighborhood I grew up in. Same exact neighborhood. White families down the road that eventually left out because there was too many Negroes. They were living in that same neighborhood, down the street, down the road. She would go to school. Her friend got shot in the leg. She almost got shot at. She got chased by dogs because the white folks. This is 1969, 1971, 72, guys. This is supposed to be after the Civil Rights Act passed and it fixed racism, guys. Yeah. Right? Like, she had all that stuff happen to me. I mean, she had all that stuff happen to her, and she didn't want me, who didn't have that stuff happen to, she didn't want me feeling that same anger she did. My mom was an incredible person. The most incredible person I know. She wanted to raise me with love for people, not to fear and hate white people. Like some other people in my family do. I had some cousins just down the road that were raised completely opposite. We're in the same neighborhood, guys. We're in the same. I got people that was down the street. Every time we go over, we got to just agree with them. Like, yeah, man, white folks. Yeah, they all. I'm sitting there in the corner like, yeah, white folks. Yeah. Because my mama didn't raise me like that. My best friend was John. I'm not going to say his full name, but a best friend named John, and my mom she said she had to swallow, like, not her pride, but like fear that she grew up with. She overcame this because she saw that I was having friends in school that I was making friends with, and their parents were so nice. She let me go over to their house. I had my mom, I wish I could bring my mom on the show. I want to bring my mom on the show to tell y'all this story herself. She had relatives and family members like, you letting them go over to them white folks' house? Because this is the 90s. This is the 90s, guys. This ain't that far. This is only 30 years after the Civil Rights Act was passed. It's not like that much time it passed. I'm like a 6, 7-year-old kid. You're like, you letting them go to them white folks' house? Because she grew up, right, with this trauma that's like, don't send them to them white folks' house because they're gonna skin them alive. Really? You don't know what's going to happen to your baby. You seen it. My mom, do you know what it takes for a freaking mother, a single mother of a single child, to send their kid off to a place that they think that they've been told is dangerous because they look at their child's face and how happy they are and how nice the parent is, and they're deciding to trust love? Anything could happen. By the way, technically, I was not the first attempt. They told my mom that she couldn't have kids. They told my mom she couldn't have kids. She considered me her miracle baby. So what if I was gone? Oh my God. Guys, my mom did not want to raise me with the fear of white people and hatred of them. So I had the opportunity to look at everything neutrally. What do I mean by that? It means that when I was 22, 23, I had a really profound experience. I started looking up interviews with racist people. I started looking up Richard Spencer and looking up Jared Taylor interviews. You know the thing that blew me away the most about looking up Jared Taylor interviews? Why is people like Jared Taylor scary? Why are people like him scary? Because he's so well spoken. That's why it's scary. Why is somebody that is just like screaming their heads off not really scary? Because they don't really say it. They're not really doing it. They're just yelling. They're not saying anything of substance that can convince people. But somebody like Jared Taylor, he as well spoken as he is, he could say some stuff. He could say some stuff that'll really make you think that you might start to believe him. But here's the point that I realized. When I went through my 2 or 3 weeks of looking at all these racist interviews with racists, I started to realize something very deep. And it solidified when I moved to Japan. Something very deep. These people, you got to look at this for real. This is the hard truth. Hopefully me saying this last topic, this last bit, will help you understand. Hopefully this will help you understand how we need to be treating this discourse and treating ourselves with regards to this discourse about the shooting and all this type of kind of stuff, right? And how we respond to people. We have to understand this. I want all people who are trans and LGBT and women and black folks, right? Because I can speak for this group. I want everyone to understand this. And also the people who support these groups need to understand this. The hardest reality that I learned that I need that a part of my ego died. A part of myself died and awakened when in 23, I realized that in life, the hard truth is that there are winners and losers. If you stay with me, I guarantee you'll get something very good out of this. My naivete went out the water. Life is very nuanced, but humans are still animals. We're still animals, guys. Life is nuanced, but humans are animals. And what I realized is, what's the difference between black people and white people? There's no difference, right? Just the color of their skin and where they're from. We all want to be, guys, we want to be equal, right? Like we want to be like on the same page. We want to like love everybody, right? We don't want to like, we don't want to make black people superior. We want to make everybody on the same playing field, right? No, most people do not want that. If people really wanted that, they would accept people's viewpoints about stuff. Because the reality is that just like we want our own to survive, them racists want their own to survive. We all want our people to survive, guys. If we're really equal, if we are really equal in this world, everyone is allowed to think what they think. Everyone. If we're allowed to be, because otherwise we got to be real about this thinking. We got to be real about this thinking exercise. There's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser. If we win, the conservative, like not we, because I don't lump myself into the liberal, but I just lean to that, right? Right? If the side that we like to align ourselves with, which is the liberal side, if we quote unquote win, guys, somebody got to lose. Do you not understand this? You walk up to a conservative and you ask them like, what happens if y'all win? They want to win so bad, right? They want to get rid of trans rights. They want to get rid of all this, whatever. Yeah, we lose. They don't care. They're not gonna care, right? Because somebody gotta win. Somebody gotta lose. That's what democracy is, right? That's what a game is, right? This is the real talk. That's what that sign is for. This sign was made for this type of conversation that most people don't get. Because when people win, they're not thinking about the loser. Y'all are not, think about it. The people that are on the side that want to like support, again, y'all know, I said at the beginning of this conversation that my community is a safe space for trans people, right? And the LGBT community, right? Because I believe in that. I like that, right? I don't like attacks on people, right? So you know that, so I shouldn't have to say this. But the thing is, the reality, bro, is that all those people that want, like, if we want to protect trans rights, those people who are religious, it doesn't matter what you believe in. It doesn't matter what you believe in. It does not matter what you believe in. Those imagine somebody else who believes that life starts at conception and that believes that there's only man and a woman. It doesn't matter. Forget your science for a second. Have some compassion. Forget science for a second. They will lose. Doesn't mean you should stop winning. No, y'all got to get rid of this waffles pancakes argument. It just means that before you go off mouthing people and really trying to celebrate people's death and going off and trying to yell at people and fight them and be this and that, whatever, stop for a second to realize that when somebody wins, somebody loses. And the fact of the matter is, no matter what y'all think, no matter how we feel, somebody died, somebody lost their family, and that is science. That's not political ideology. That's not qualifying something. People are dying and they lost their family. People are saying that his kids should also die. Do you realize this? This is the type of stuff that 13 and 14-year-olds are out here looking at. They're looking at it and being like, oh, this has 100,000 retweets. This is the right thing to think. This is right. And look, these people also believe that I'm feeling these kind of trans. I think I might not be. Yeah, I think I might not be a woman. I might not be a man. I think I might be trans. These people are supporting that person right there that said his kids should die. Yeah, they're also supporting trans rights. So like, yeah, I got to go with them. And now I got to feel this way. Why are we fighting, bro? This is what I'm talking about. Their kid is a bit, bro. This is what I'm talking about. Like, think about how much compassion we wanted the other side to have when George Floyd died. How much compassion we wanted them to have for looking at this, for seeing this man get kneeled on for like 10 minutes. We wanted the world to feel our pain. We wanted that. We wanted the world to feel our pain, bro. We wanted the world to feel that pain. But this pain, no. Because he advocated for something against what I believe in. Because he advocated for something like, even though he didn't go and kill nobody. Yeah, he said people don't believe it. Okay, the gun violence thing. Yeah, he said that like, yeah, gun deaths are necessary, blah, blah, blah. That's a terrible thing to say, isn't it? Yeah, bro. Like, I think a lot of people would agree that like, man, like saying something like that is a terrible thing to say. Why is a terrible thing to say make somebody an evil person? Why is a terrible thing to say automatically make him deserve to die? Why is a terrible thing to say mean that we need to go and off people we disagree with? Oh, I love this, Eop. Thank you for saying this. Many feel like Kirk had no empathy, so they feel like it's just, oh, this person had no empathy, therefore I'm not going to have empathy. Forget it. You know what? This person didn't have it. Forget it. I'm not going to have it. I don't care. That's crazy. We're playing teams and we can't be on the side of the people who say that they love everybody. We can't be on the side of the people who say they want everybody to have their own life and respect and make decisions. We can't even stick to that ourselves when something challenges us. We don't want to be challenged. We want to be right. We don't want to like people. We don't want safety. We want correctness. We want vindication. We feel like we've been wrong. It starts from black people. It starts from Jewish people. And now that's at odds, whatever. But in America, at least, it's starting from it started from black people. It started from like, we think that, black people been wrong, so they got to get revenge. It's crazy. But Bebop, why do you have to feel anything? Why should you feel anything? This is the point. We're getting to the apex. We're getting to the climax of my talk right now. So now that I've said all that, now that we're kind of here, think about the end game. What is the end goal? What is the end goal of separating your feelings and your thoughts from your identity? It's to understand that you are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts, and you are not your emotions. You are not your reactions. They are separate from you. They are a thing that happens outside of you. If you can recognize that, then you can actually choose. It's not being manipulative. It's called adapting to the modern world. We cannot apply, like, one of the biggest things that the mistakes that we're making, understandably, because these things right here are moving too fast for our evolutionary time. We cannot afford to use 200, 300 years ago logic on the modern smartphone social media age. We can't do it. We can't do that. We got to move on. We literally have to adapt or die. People keep telling me embrace AI, adapt or die. It's like, nah, man, I'll tell you what we can do. I don't want humanity to suffer. We need to be the ones that adapt. AI is learning faster than us. On an evolutionary scale, the rate that AI is learning is, bro, I probably don't even know the number. I don't even know the number. Over the past 30 years, are you serious? Compared to like the past, 100,000 whatever years since like Cro-Magnon man or something? I don't know how long AI is learning compared to us. We're cooked. There's no chance. In 30 years, like not even 30, it's like when was the first AI? Like in the 40s or something? So like 80 years or something? Give it another 30, cooked. Cooked. I love this. You know what? Let's look at this. I love this. This is a prime example, bro. Club Penguin Dead said, Kirk is one of the most reasonable and empathetic person I've ever seen, but the amount of clips taken out of context of people intentionally twisting his words is appalling. Then Bebop says, Penguin, I don't know about all that. You know, the most reasonable is a stretch. I love this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Ooh, Black Trumpeter. I did a review on you actually the other day. You sounded killing. I'm going to put it out later. Said, I don't know, Pat. The difference is racists want other people not exist in order for their people to survive. Black people just want to live freely. There's not. Here's the thing. So I respect what you're saying, but there's one crucial mistake that's not your fault that most people make, not just black people. Black people are not a monolith. There is no group of people that is a monolith. There's not a single group of person that's a monolith. Not all black people think the same. Not all white people think the same. Just like we know that there are white people that are racist, we know white people that marched on George Floyd. We know white people that marched for Martin Luther King and all of that stuff. Just like we know black people just want to live freely and whatever. You cannot tell me you don't know a single black person that's probably in your family that hate white people. Can't tell me that. Can't tell me that. Can't tell me that. The problem is the reasonable people in the middle, you know what I'm saying? Like the white people that just want to live normally and don't really care, and the black people that don't think black people should be superior and just want to like just chill. Those aren't the people getting the 100,000 retweets, guys. It's the Umar Johnsons. It's the Richard Spencers. These are the cats that are getting the retweets. These Nick Fuentes now. I guess Richard Spencer's old now, so Nick Fuentes is the new racist in town, right? And there's even some infighting in his community because he's not as super straight as people thought it was, you know? But, you know, like, there's radical people on all sides. There's radical people on all sides, and those are the ones. Those are the ones that are getting the views. Thank you, Pat Foot. Most people fail to understand that most people want to live their life somewhere in the middle of the political aisle, but being moderate doesn't get views. Yes. And the problem with people say just turn off your phone, right? That's the easy solution, is to say just turn off your phone. Really can't do that. We would need everyone to do that. We've gone too far. That's not the solution anymore. That used to be the solution, but that's not. You can't do that. Because if you turn your phone off, the next 10 people outside over there next door, like my neighbors, whatever, they got their phones on. We can only do for ourselves, right? We need to adapt. And the way to adapt is we have to adapt this strategy. We have to take this strategy of looking at the whole picture, because right now we're only seeing the pixels in this screen. Right now, you guys aren't seeing the whole reality. That's what I said in the beginning. You guys are seeing this. This is what you're seeing. And if you're only seeing this, only the things here are going to be the things that matter. This is what is reality for you guys. Everyone who's watching me right now, this is your reality. The only way you can truly know the real truth and reality is to go outside. So until you do that, you're not qualified to speak on it. Period. No matter how much you think you know, no matter how much research you do, no one is qualified to speak as much as the person that is in the thing. Because we're curating our own reality. We're creating our own reality, guys. See, you're making judgment calls based off of things that you are curating for yourself. They're being curated. This is the issue that I have. What's happening? Let me catch up with the chat. My whole problem with this conversation is that it would never be had with the other side because it feels like we're held to different standards, even though I'm saying play. I'm glad you realized at the very end you became self-aware. You became very self-aware. You know, we're all being very human right now, which is beautiful. I'm glad that we're very passionate about things. We should keep that passion. And we should take that passion and put it into this. Because if we don't, that's it. No more humans. We don't need it. We're not functional creatures, guys. We have the ability to be functional, but we don't. If we were just functional creatures, we would not have emotions. If we were just robots to be logical, then we would not feel these things. What's happening in the chat is a beautiful example of our humanity. It's a beautiful example of why we need to learn things that are not just money-making trades, money-making skills. What's up, Brad? 100% having discussions and debating the beauty of this country. I didn't like that most Charlie. I didn't like most that Charlie was good for and said, but at least he had open debates of college. That's what I'm saying. Why are we not? The thing that people are upset. It's funny that people think. That's the reason why, like, I worry about the fabric of this country, because people are not saying a single thing about the fact that a college campus was not safe for discussion. Guys, it was a Q&A. Guys, people are saying that he deserved it. Guys, no one is talking about wow. Like, the only people that are talking about that are the conservatives. Where are the liberal, like, where are the liberal cast being like, this should not be happening on college campuses? Nah. I bet they would be saying it if it was like, I don't know, Destiny died or something. I don't agree with everything he said, but come on, it's a college. All these people being like, well, he disrespected this, he blah, 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 he said this about me and my people. So no, all right, got it. So the only people that are allowed to talk are the people that think like you. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. JJ, it's an absolutely fair assessment because liberals of today are not the liberals of 30, 40 years ago or 50, 60 years ago. We're in a completely new time right now. I'm not talking about what 40 and 50-year-olds are saying right now. I'm talking about the thing that the influence that this has over our young people. That's what this conversation is about. That's what we're talking about. The people that are between the ages of like 18 and 24 and how sad it is. And how all of that energy, if from the ages of like 4, 5, 6, like I had, if there was like some xylophones or like they could bang on or some recorders they can just blow into and continue that as like a priority, or like give them a drawing pad, like instead of throwing this in their face and letting them watch whatever the heck they want, they put a freaking, instead of putting an iPad, put a drawing tablet. Or if you're poor, I mean, like, yo, get a freaking composition book from the dollar store, Dollar General. That's what I drew on. I didn't have, when I was doing art, I didn't have no fancy art supplies. I got a pencil set and a paint set for Christmas one year, and I was like, oh. Other than that, bro, went to Dollar General, got a freaking composition book, and started drawing, boy. I got some chalk and I started drawing Goku on the sidewalk, bro. Like, that ain't no money. We was broke, bro. I was eating Vienna sausages and saltine crackers for lunch, bro. What you talking about? Broke. Almost poor. If you literally, from the beginning, as early as possible, instill this, hey, man, when you feeling bad, just do this. Write it out. Dance it out. I'm not saying that yeah, you know. Yeah, but Bebop, why does that affect you so much? Why does that affect you so much? And Billy Ross, why does that affect you so much? I don't want people. Yeah, everybody's agreeing. Why does that affect you so much? Thank you, Groovy. Y'all don't care. Yeah, I don't think a lot of y'all, I'm not saying you, I don't think a lot of people really care about life. Like, it's like people always like this. It's okay. Let's look at the definition of violence. Ah, love it. Can we not make all these custom definitions? Words change, but we need to assess the logic behind the words that are changing. Read that. Everybody who thinks that words are violence, read this. And then I'll talk. Because if we're saying that this definition is not a definition, if we're saying that this is not the contemporary, then I like to see it. I want to see it. For those of you who are watching and can't read, well, not can't read, but like don't have like your phone is down or you're listening like it's a podcast or something, like talking head video. For those of you who like are unable to do it right now, this definition from Oxford Languages says violence, behavior involving physical force intended to hurt, damage, or kill someone or something. Why is me saying, or Charlie saying, that if his daughter was R-worded, that he would force her to give birth? Why is that violence? Why is that not just really uncomfortable and like not a good thing to say? Why is it violence? Why do we need, this is exactly the type of rhetoric that this new age, new world rhetoric that's causing people to not want to agree with us. This is the type of new age rhetoric that like is causing people to get away from us, our side, and call us crazy, because it's not violence. It's not, because you're interpreting a threat when there's no threat. We have these biological, we have these actual biological things, like almost like drones, sensors or whatever. When actual dangers coming our way, they've been hijacked by this. Our education. Billy, he said his daughter could die from giving first birth. Could. Why are we so weak? Like, I mean that respectfully. It didn't happen. Matter of fact, his father's dead. And second of all, it hasn't happened yet. We don't know if it was going to happen. We don't know what happened. We don't know if it was going to happen to her or whatever. If somebody did that to her, we don't blame Charlie. We blame the person that did it. We blame the person that did it, right? In a actual civil world, right, where we're all balanced, we don't send. Like, it's like no one watched 1984, right? We don't send Charlie to jail for saying what he did if his daughter gets R-worded. Bebop, I personally don't care what he said as much as I don't care that Dr. Umar says that that black men should not be dating white women. That we should only be in black communities and white people ain't whatever. Like, I don't care about him saying that as much as I don't care about what y'all are saying that. I'm sorry, but people do not die as a result of words. I have never seen that happen before. People do not die as a result of words. Even somebody, thank you, Mick. This is where a lot of people are going to leave the chat, and that's fine. We're having a conversation. Even somebody who has a gun pointed at somebody's head and their boss told them to kill them. If that boss says, kill him, that boss's words didn't kill that guy. That boss's word didn't kill that guy. If the guy wanted to be a hero, he could have been a martyr. He either turn on himself or try to quickly turn it towards the boss or something. He made that decision. He made that decision, not the boss. We got to stop giving our agency up to people, y'all. We are giving up our agency. This is the whole crux of the conversation is the fact that we're giving our agency away when we react this way to people. We're saying I'm either at worst we're saying I'm too lazy and I don't want to work. At best, we're saying that you are responsible for how I feel. I would like to think that that's the thing that we, I would like to think that that's the thing that we really are having an issue with, is that we think other people are responsible for our actions. Right? Because if we cannot be in the business of perpetuating the cycle of hate and violence. You think you're understanding enough? Yeah, exactly, Zoinks. You're not forced to do anything. You have convinced yourself that you do it. You're the one making the decision. No one has your hand on this. No one has your hand on the trigger. It's yours. Does that argument not diminish the reach and ramifications of harmful rhetoric? No, it does not diminish any of that. That's what people are thinking. You all are having reactions to my words, which is the whole crux of my conversation. We're all humans. We're being humans right now, which is fine. Right now, you're going through a complicated process of weighing my words against what you believe in and what you think, and you're having reactions like, should I support or should I go against? Like, I gotta, what you believe. Like, everyone is attached to their thoughts and their ideas. I am not attached to my thoughts and my ideas. I have learned to let go of them. I'm still affected by them, but once I realize that they're not mine, I can kind of sit back a little bit and be like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not me. But a lot of y'all are really attached to your thoughts. And it's impossible for you to do a thought experiment on yourself. Do a thought experiment. If you think one thing, try to think the opposite. Trey, others do influence action and some of our choices are inevitable, but they are always my fault. Thank you. That's what I've been trying to say. I'm not saying that, saying that words are violence is weird to me. That's not true at all. The definition right here says otherwise. And if we're just going to ignore definitions and just redefine words, then everything I'm saying must be a lie. Everything you're saying is a lie. I don't care. We have to go that way. We have to go that way. That's the only way to go if we're going to say that words don't have definitions. Exactly, Ralph. That's why I mentioned 1984. It's like thought crimes. It's like thought crimes. Because we have to realize this, that as soon as we give up our agency, we give up, period. Like, we're basically saying we're weak. Do you want to be strong? Like, do you want to actually have control and agency over your life? Or whenever something happens, do you want to always say that it's somebody else's fault? The thing is, Eop, and everybody, I want to be let me try to be calm about this. Everyone who's saying that speech has consequences needs to understand the fundamental concept of what I've been talking about for the past 3 hours. Words Why do we say that words are harmful? Why do we say that? We say words are harmful because they elicit reactions. That's it. They elicit reactions. They cause us to think certain things. In a neurotypical, well-adjusted individual in society, those words should not have that type of effect if you have the ability to look at them. But the problem is, people have learned how to take advantage of our psychology. Taking advantage of your psychology does not take control of your actions. It takes control of your brain, your psychology. Because people have realized that if you control this first, you can control everything else. But this thing, that's not your brain. That's not your that's not a word. This is a freaking action. You are saying, I'm going to pull this. You can just as easily say, I'm not going to do this. It's all us. It's all of us. I don't agree with celebrating dead, but I don't feel anything about what happened. That's fine. That's up to you. And you know what's funny? If you want to feel mad or if you want to feel happy, that's also up to you. We're humans. We have free will, right? The only thing I'm speaking on is if we want to actually have the world that we're dreaming of, it doesn't start with yelling at people. We're tribal. Because if we want it, we have to realize that we're freaking tribal, y'all. People on this side are trying to defend what they believe in. People on our side are trying to defend what they believe in. Because think about it. Think about this, guys, and what y'all don't understand. I think the crux of this argument can be boiled down to the pro-choice, pro-life argument. I really think all of this, I think that's more than anything. I think that right there is really the crux of all of the issues we have in our disagreements. I think that's the one. Yeah, I love that, Tsukikage. It says right here, like Kirk's abortion stance was based on his belief that unborn children had rights. His Second Amendment stance was based on his mistrust of the government police. Why is that bad? Inherently. Why is that like inherently bad? Not why is that like subjectively morally bad? Why is that objectively bad? I've watched them talk. I watched them talk about abortion. I watched them talk about that. Who? Zip it, man. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but like some of the stuff that y'all are saying in here, it seems like y'all are really upset. Like, it just feels really aggressive. Like, I don't get, like you said, it's funny that I believe everything that he said. And it's like, or believe that he believed everything that he said. And I'm like, why are we so anxious? Like, why are we so anxious, guys? It doesn't matter if he believed what he believed, you are choosing to react to it. Does that make sense? You cannot separate, most of y'all cannot separate the way you feel from your identity. Thank you, Hayden. We're starting to think that our subjective views are some objective truth. We're so afraid of something, even if the danger is not even in our backyard. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If you think that life starts at conception, it would be psychopathic to not have his belief. Yeah. Like it's Yeah, but Leo, I'm a Sanguis. You said you think people are more upset at his opinions because he's in a position to influence tangible change. Here's the thing. The reason I'm talking about this, the only reason I'm talking about this has nothing to do, and this is why I feel like I'm going in circles. It feels like I'm cyclical. I'm going to end the stream at some point. The reason why I'm talking about this is because this all started from a conversation I had about how people think jokes are harmful. Like racist jokes and all that kind of stuff are like, it's punching down because they can't defend themselves. And I'm just like thinking like, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's making me try to. If somebody tells you a joke, I love this. Thank you for the $10, Andrew. There's no justification for Charlie Kirk getting murdered. He invited people who disagreed to talk with him. Yep. Regardless. No problem, Dan. Yeah, like, bro, regardless of what you think about somebody, he didn't kill the people he disagreed with. I don't care about motives. I don't care if it was for views. I don't care if it was for whatever. I don't care what it was for. The point of the matter is, bro, we got to stop giving our responsibility to other people. Yeah, there's on it. I think most people have good reason for it. This is what I'm talking about. If everything that we feel and think is our choice, because it is, by the way, it's not natural. We control what we think because we learn it. We learn what we think. We're not born with it. We learn what we think. If we really do that, then why are we're choosing? We have to really analyze, like, get to the bottom of it. Why are we choosing to think negative things? Instead of thinking that most people have good reasons for what they believe and trying to really think like, okay, I can kind of see what you're saying, but like, I don't agree with this because I'm afraid that this will lead to blah, blah, blah. That's the rational thing to say, right? That's a rational thing to say. Including all these other qualifiers and making up definitions for words that aren't a thing, that's... I mean, what's done is done. All we do is move on. I disagree with that. So here's the thing, Bebop. I appreciate you. Thank you for saying that. That's at least a step in the right direction. But this is part of what I'm talking about. Like, let's talk about this cell phone for a second. So not only can you see anything at any time, the thing about the cell phone and why this is the real secret why this cell phone thing is a problem for us is not because we can see anything. You know what the real problem is? Is that we can choose to not see things too. That's the real problem. The real problem is that we not only can we see whatever, like, we can also block people we don't like. We can, which is like the closest thing to, to getting rid of them. Like, we don't care about them, so we don't care if they live or die, right? Like, you blocking them, whatever. You can also like curate your algorithm to only see stuff you want. No one's willingly going into alt-right circles or whatever and trying to understand how they think. No one is willingly. No, it's. Thank you. See, yeah, at least say like I do be scrolling faster past opinions that make me uncomfortable. This is the issue. So no, I don't think that we should just move on. I don't agree with that. And I'm saying this respectfully because I appreciate that you said that. It's, like, I'm glad you had that thought because it's better than thinking that somebody should die. But at the same time, we need to confront these uncomfortable things. We have to. We must confront this uncomfortably. If we don't confront this uncomfortably, we're not going to build up the muscle to tolerate discomfort. And we're going to think that discomfort is violence. We're going to think that all the other extremes, I'm talking about extremes, getting bombed, murdered, like R-worded, famine, like, what the UNC CEO was doing. We're going to think all that is daily. Because why? Because we're seeing it every freaking day. So it's our reality now. It's not just theirs. It's our reality. But it's not. If you look outside your window right now, there isn't a bomb flying out your window. It's a tree. Get real. Get real. Get with reality. Because the more you do that, the more you will appreciate fantasy. I guarantee that. Guarantee that. Fantasy unites us all, guys. Fiction. You said that and something just dinked to your window and yeah, I just I have that power. Each person has to make that individual choice, though, which is hard to make them do. Who wants to go listen to pain? I'm not about ain't nobody making nobody do nothing. Guys, I don't think you understand. When this stream goes off, I'm eating dinner. I ain't worrying about y'all. When this stream goes off, I'm eating dinner. I'm giving this to y'all as like a potential thought to have. This is a potential thought. You can do what you want with it. The thing I fight for is hoping that when people have angry and aggressive and violent thoughts, that they go to something like this instead of another person. If they disagree with somebody, they get it out on this. Then they look at the rational cause of action because they've gotten out. Bro, what do you think? Guys, why do you think we have different categories for like murder? Like first, second degree, like manslaughter, all that kind of stuff. Why do we have like a difference between premeditated murder and just like impulsive murder? Why? Because most people, if they want to commit violence on somebody, it's very impulsive. If you really have been thinking about this before it happens for like 3-6 months, whatever, you've been planning, plotting, you got to get psychologically like evaluated. You're not normal. Or you had terrible education, experience growing up, right? Or started with very little things that you were able to get away with. There is a difference. Most of the things that we're doing nowadays is impulsive. So much is impulse. And usually, kids learn quick. When kids do something, like they steal a raisin and no one notices, they try to steal something bigger. They steal a cookie, no one notices. Okay, and they steal it's like the slow build. And if things go unchecked, they'll just keep doing it for the rest of their life. And it's going to be really hard to change it. That's just how we are. Humans don't want to do things that's hard. We want to do things that's easy that we can get away with. Like, it's human nature to want to like protect yourself. Do what you got. You don't want to, because doing work hurts. People learn to do work because they learn that that's the only way. Like, you got to, back in the day, if I want a vitamin C, I better crack that orange and it's going to have seeds in it. Now, DoorDash. Bro, you think if somebody has the money and the means to just deliver and have somebody cook with them that they're going to cook? No. What's going to make them want to cook is if they love cooking. Not because that's it. If they can get somebody to do it for them, why the heck would they do it? Humans don't want to do work. We need to do work. We do to the limit. We do as little as possible to the limit of what is little to do. Watch Wall-E. That's like the inevitable future. So this thing right here, the ultimate convenience. You ain't want to do nothing. So you're not gonna want to, you're not gonna want to deal with your problems. You're not gonna want to express. Somebody else can do that. Exactly, T-Bird. People take the path of least resistance. And one of the paths of least resistance is tribalism. Lean into the group. Have a set of morals. Because we feel that. We have to do that. Like, that's one of the things that helps us to survive and keep everybody else surviving. What happens when you're by yourself in your house? Just got off work. Do you need to be that invested? Do you really have to be that? Like, you can't just like calm down and evaluate. Like, yeah, I'm angry. I want to get this out. Let me talk to somebody about it. Let me go like get a friend. That's why we're communal people, bro. Go talk to a friend. If you got the money, get a therapist, whatever. Like, don't go to somebody and immediately start mouthing off to them or like trying to violate, because here's the thing, man. I'm telling you, and I want everybody to live with this. I want people to sit with this thing right here. The absence of art leads to the presence of violence. The absence of art leads to the emergence of violence. And the reason why is because the absence of the appreciation for the abstract and the examining of your own feelings, if you can't get it out there, you're going to have to, it's going to come out. It's going to come out, guys. It's going to come out somewhere. And the thing is that people don't understand is that the people that everybody is trying to like talk to me about when they're talking about, But what about people going through poverty, going through this, going through that, and whatever? It's like, yeah, I think one of the reasons why they feel the way they do is because they don't have the time to express. They don't have the, you're right. They don't have the time or the means to. They also probably weren't taught that it was important. But I know plenty of people that were taught it was important. People doing AI art, they take the easy way. That's what I'm saying. See, now you're starting to understand the danger this goes down. This goes down the AI rabbit hole, right? And why I push back against AI. Now it's starting to make sense, hopefully. Something's gonna have to give. If we don't consciously stand against this, something's gonna burst, and it's not gonna be pretty. Zimpans, you make it. Why don't you go for it? If why do you think I'm on this channel? Why do you think I'm on this channel? I'm on this channel because I saw a bunch of PDF packages and scales and licks, and that's the only jazz education that was on YouTube. And I was like, why is nobody doing this? I had a choice. Either sit in my bed yelling at clouds or get off my behind and start making some content myself. Proactive. Do it. I'm here. Sacrificed a lot for this too. A lot of money. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not touring around the world. I said I'm stopping because I have something I want to tell people. I was not able to do it. I did not have my equipment. I can't bring my entire setup with me. I was moving from Japan. I was in transit. I was like, no, I need to stop. If you feel passionate about something, do it. As my stepdad said, don't talk about it, be about it. And I'm about to be about this dinner. That's all I got to say tonight, y'all. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'm about to go be about my life. And remember, invest and teach. Invest and teach. Always. Don't sit down. Don't sit and waste your life. Don't sit and wait. Like you have something to give, right? Give compassion. Like give care. Care about something. You don't gotta be, and if you like, oh, I want to be soft or whatever, you don't gotta be soft. It's about like, if you care about something, you can show somebody else that you care about this thing, and then y'all care about this thing together or something. Somebody care about fruit, somebody else care about chicken, whatever. Y'all come together, y'all can both care about the same thing and talk about what you care about, and then oh, wow, you're talking with care. So important. So important, man. That's really all I got. But I do this because I love y'all. I do this because I care, and I'm tired of seeing stuff. Like it sucks. And even then, like I'm not really mad. I'm not mad. I'm not even really frustrated. I'm annoyed. That's the better word is annoyed. I'm annoyed. I talk this way because I'm annoyed. I'm not mad. I don't waste my time on that emotion. I've learned from that. I don't have that. I don't deal with that. I am annoyed. Yeah. But before I go and try to harm somebody else, I try to think about it a little bit. And I'm not perfect. I might make mistakes. There's things I got to learn. But as long as I stay conscious about this, I can make it happen. And y'all can too. I encourage everybody to go into Discord. Let's have these conversations. We have a lot of these conversations that are just nice. You know what I mean? Let me pull up the Discord link again. So join up. Thank y'all for watching, everybody. Take this with you. Take it with you. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.